Hello and welcome to Kraft Stadium in Elida for tonight's matchup between the Shawnee Indians and the Elida Bulldogs. I'm Nate Garlock alongside John Zerby. Tonight's pregame and keys of the game are brought to you by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer in the greater Lima area. Serving Lima for over 100 years, we are proud to call this home. And John, we have a tremendous matchup here tonight, a big rivalry game to open the Western Buckeye League for both of these squads. Shawnee trying to carry the momentum in from a big victory against LCC last week that kind of gave them some final room to breathe after that 0-10 season. And on the other side of the field, the Elida Bulldogs, they had some questions they needed to answer, the health of Ryan Magoo being one of them, and he showed that he is perfectly healthy and ready to go as they put up a ton of points last week against Toledo Rogers.
Yeah, how exciting, Nate, to get this game early in the season. I mean, typically when you're facing your crosstown rival, you play in weeks 8, 9, or 10, but this is right away, and that's something that in the offseason guys are working for. They know that right up front they're going to open up league play, face their rival. But, you know, looking at Shawnee, it was awesome to see them get that first win, especially with a really good LCC team. Coach Shane Wireman, hired in the offseason, had a lot of success at Waynesfield Goshen, comes in, establishes his program, gets a win, and really gets some momentum going for the Indians. And I look for them to come into this game ready to play, disciplined, and ready to improve. Elida, lots of questions, like you said. Ryan Magoo last year had a phenomenal season, winning 4 games early, then gets hurt, out the rest of the year. I know he's worked really hard to get back, ready to play. Everything Elida does is going to revolve around his arm tonight.
As you saw our keys of the game come up onto the screen, I think that this is going to be a tremendous matchup. Last year, this was really a defensive battle, just a 13-9 game for these teams. And, you know, I think we see better offenses for both clubs coming into this one. And this one, we know it's the rivalry, even if it's early in the year, but this should be an absolutely explosive game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at what Shawnee needs to do, and you've seen those keys. I mean, we talked about explosive plays, getting pressure on Magoo, establishing the run game. Beyond J.J. Spiker, we'll hear his name because he's a quarterback. He can run, he can throw, he can do everything. But Elida, they just got to win up front, and they just not turn the ball over, and really special teams. And I really feel like in a game like this, special teams is going to a punt or a kickoff or a field goal is probably going to be the separator.
It is. We are in store for a fantastic matchup tonight. We cannot wait to get this one underway. Don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll have the opening kickoff here on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's scoreboard sponsor is Webb Insurance Agency, serving Lima and Allen County for more than 100 years with offices in downtown Lima and Bluffton. John's Doctor DDS is tonight's premier sponsor for the Elida Bulldogs, providing dental care for high school sports fans. The opening kick goes to the Shawnee Indians, and they return that out beyond the 40-yard line, so great field position here for the Indians. As you can tell, both these teams a little bit extra here to begin this game.
Yeah, Jaron Bagley gets the kickoff, Nate, and gets Shawnee awesome field position starting out at their 40. Really good start for the Indians.
So I think this is going to be a big drive for the Indians as J.J. Spiker comes out to lead this Indian offense. He had a great week last week, kept a lot of plays alive as LCC was able to get to him quite a bit in the backfield. Ended up with a big game rushing. I don't think that's exactly how Coach Wireman drew it up. But Elida, they have got a man-child on their side in Parker Krim that the Indians are going to have to find a way to block.
Yeah, you always have to know where Krim is at. And one of the things I think Shawnee wants to do, which you see them right away, is establish a run game other than J.J. Spiker running the football. You see that they're already starting out with the run here to get things started.
That was Cole Sunderland on the carry. He had 3 touchdowns last week for the Indians, 2 on offense as he ran one in and he caught one, and the other one was a big pick 6 that really swung the momentum in the Indians' favor. 4 wide receivers for the Indians. Spiker in the backfield. Going to drop back, going to look to go to the air. Gets this one away quickly. And that one's going to be out for a short gain as that one was out to number 3, Reese Davidson. That's going to bring up second and about 5 for the Indians.
Yeah, it was a nice, that's a really good first down or second down play, Nate, where you can get just a few yards, get a good third down situation. What you don't want to do is get yourself in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. Now it's manageable. 3rd and 5 is manageable. You can look in your playbook and find something that fits that yardage.
And I felt last week this is where the Indians looked the best, when they were able to get in those 2 3-step drops and get rid of the ball quickly. And that's what they're trying to do right there, as that was turn around. I can't see the number. That was Reese Davidson yet again, who that pass was intended to. He actually slipped coming out of his break. If he keeps his feet, I think that's going to be a completion and a first down, but unfortunately it's going to end up being a punt for the Indians.
Great play call. They go trips to the wide side of the field, and they match Davidson up backside. The route's perfect. The throw's perfect. He just slips, and they're lucky because Elida's Larry Smith almost has a pick. Shawnee gets the punt. At least they can punt and put Elida deep in their own territory.
Now it's going to be Joel Stern back for the Indians, waiting for the punt. Amari Walsh waits on it for the Bulldogs. He has game-changing speed as Elida looks like they got a piece of that one. So that one's just going to flutter just beyond the 50 as the pressure from the Bulldogs was too much. And they were able to get to that punt, and they'll have great field position for their first possession.
Yeah, Elida's Cohen Sullivan comes in, 5'11", 180-pound sophomore, flies off the edge, gets a little bit, just enough to give Elida great field position just almost to the 50-yard line.
So now we get our first look at the Elida offense led by quarterback Ryan Magoo. Ryan had a fantastic start to the season last year before an unfortunate injury had him miss the last 6 games. They got off to a good start last week against Rogers, looking to continue that here. Going to be a handoff to Kaufman up the middle. He works off that right side. Nice gain on first down for the Bulldogs.
And that's one of the things Elida wants to do, even though they do a really great job of throwing the football. Once again, like Shawnee, they got to establish a run game. When you can establish a run game, it obviously will give your quarterback a much better opportunity to throw the football and give him time when you have that ground game in action.
And had a great look at it there on our Pat's Donuts and Cream instant replay. It's going to bring up 2nd and 4 for the Bulldogs as we have a quick stoppage of play. Not sure. They're going to wait for a substitution as Amari Walsh is actually going to have to come out of the game for a minute. Not sure if it's an equipment issue or what, but the officials actually stopped it and had him come off. 2nd and 4. Magoo takes a snap. Going to hand this one off yet again. Kaufman going to work off that right side. Tried to bounce it out wide. He's going to get dropped after a short gain. Only a pickup of 2. And kind of surprised to see Kaufman bounce that one out. It looked like he had it if he just kept moving up, but he was trying to avoid the upcoming pressure from the Shawnee defense, and a great open field tackle there for the Indians.
Yeah, what a great tackle by Reddick, number 6 there. He comes up. If he does not make that tackle, Nate, there's lots of yards to gain. So that's a great open field tackle. Puts Elida in this now 3rd and short situation.
Just underway here at Kraft Stadium, 3rd and 2nd on Elida's first drive. Kaufman goes into motion. Magoo going to keep it himself right up the middle, and that offensive line for Elida created all sorts of space there, and we have our first Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down.
Yeah, I like that play call by Coach Kyle Harmon. He puts his running back, Cameron Kaufman, in what's called orbit motion, and you see the defense adjusting to him, and it's 3rd and short. You know, why not run your quarterback? He's 6'4", 6'4", and a massive, strong a guy there, 205 pounds, gets the first down for the Bulldogs.
So the drive stays alive for the Bulldogs. Coach Harmon calling in the play from the sideline. Kaufman in motion yet again. This one is going to go to him as they're going to try to work that left side. There's a little bit of space, but not quite as much as they had on the previous drive. Going to be a short gain on first down.
Yeah, what a great tackle by Dominic Colai. He comes flying from his safety position downfield, making a nice open field tackle.
Our presenting sponsor tonight is Elida Building and Contracting. Call Brian Wheeler of Elida Building and Contracting, a commitment to quality and community. Elida Building and Contracting, 48 years of trust, 48 years of experience. 8:30 left to go here in the opening quarter with the Bulldogs driving. 2nd and 8. Magoo waits in the shotgun, going to drop back, going to go to the air for the first time tonight. Let's go this one towards the near sideline. And Shawnee was all over that one as they blew that one up for no gain, maybe even a loss of a yard.
Yeah, what a great play there by Dalton Hobson, coming up from that corner position. And, you know, really, you know, when you have those timing routes, what you're expecting to do, you're trying to make it like a sweep. You get the ball out there quick, and you're hoping that your receiver can make a play, but Hobson comes up and makes a fantastic tackle.
Secondary had to play big last week, and they did. There were still some miscues, so that was going to be a focal point for practice this week for the Indians, and it looks like it paid off at least here early. 3rd and long for the Bulldogs. Going to drop back, go to the air. Amari Walsh, as he lost his footing, as that's the 2nd receiver we've seen slip coming out of their break. And it's kind of one of those things where it's just kind of a give back, right? They saw Shawnee have it happen. Unfortunate break for them. This time it was Elida. And I don't see the punt team coming out as they are in plus territory. And actually, here they go. They're going to play the field position game now, as it looks like they are going to punt this one away.
It's interesting that we've had 2 routes like that and 2 slips. I'm wondering, you're looking out on the field, and I'm seeing green grass, and it's beautiful, but at the same time, it's been 95 degrees all week and really hot, so I'm guessing this field's been watered quite a bit. I'm wondering if it's a little slick, Nate. We've seen 2 routes now out in the open field. Guys fall down. Yeah,
initially I thought maybe on the first one with Shawnee, as that punt gets away, Shawnee tried to bring a little bit of pressure. This one's going to check up nicely for the Bulldogs. The Indians have no choice but to collect that one. It's going to be down right about the 12-yard line, it looks. But to finish that thought, I thought maybe, Shawnee, they have all turf. That's what they practice on. This is the first time they've been on grass this year. Sometimes that can be a little bit of an adjustment as you're used to being able to turn quickly and cut on turf. But as you mentioned, we just saw it out of Elida, so maybe there is something going on. It'll be interesting to watch here as we move through this one. Sun beating down on us currently, a balmy one here tonight out in Elida. We're feeling it up here. I'm sure they're feeling it down on the field. They'll be very happy when that sun goes down behind the trees.
My wife has asked me to lose a little bit of weight, so this is a really good strategy tonight, that's for sure.
So now Shawnee pinned deep in their own territory, out for their second drive of the game. Spiker going to hand this one off to Sunderland. Sunderland right up the middle, bounces off a couple of would-be tacklers before taken down after about a gain of 5.
Well, you can see right away, Nate, that Coach Wireman's immediately trying to establish this run game. He talked about it. He said it was one of the things last week. They did not block real well. Spiker was kind of on the run a lot more than what they wanted him to last week. So already this week, really setting the tone, running the football. Great first down run of 6 yards.
You saw Parker Krim in there to come get that tackle as he get pulled from that right side. He covers a lot of ground with his speed. Going to have a false start, though, so after a good pickup on the first down, they're going to march back and give 5 of them right back to the Bulldogs.
This is week 2. You're going to see some of that. I mean, no matter how much you practice, and I think it's even tougher now because these teams have eliminated a scrimmage. They start a week earlier. It's really hard to cram everything in, even though your summertime's kind of unlimited. So you're going to see a lot of mistakes tonight. And I would think that typically the team that just makes the least amount of false starts and mental mistakes is going to be the team that's going to be in possession.
Second down and 9 for the Indians, and we're going to have another one. And this is a little bit of a surprise because, as you mentioned, you see mental mistakes. But last week, the Indians, 2 penalties for 10 yards. That was it. They had a very clean game, and they're coming out here tonight. And after a great pickup on first down, back-to-back false start penalties, and now they're behind the sticks for this 2nd and long.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes it compounds too. Like, if you get out of week 1 with 2 penalties for 10 yards, Nate, you've done something right. But already we have 2 penalties for 10 yards, and now they put themselves in 2nd and 14 where they originally started at 2nd and 4.
So now Spiker under center, not a look we saw too often. They're just going to hand it quickly. That one's going to go to Achias Richardson, the big tight end. Also, he plays a big role for them on defense on the defensive line. He just runs right up the middle. A great gain on 2nd down to make this 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, I really like that play call because now you're in a situation where you're backed up against the end zone, 2 false starts. Just get yardage, get yourself in a situation to have a manageable first down. What a nice run there to get them in position here.
Here's Spiker, going to drop back, going to look to go to the air. Has a big hole in front of him, going to keep his feet, and almost able to complete that just out of the outstretched arms of Cole Sunderland. And that is what J.J. Spiker did so well last week, where he was able to keep those drives alive, give Shawnee a chance and let his receivers run open, as you saw there on our Pat's Donuts and Cream instant replay.
Yeah, I mean, nice play call. I think the one thing that you're seeing with Spiker is he can move. He's very shifty, and that will be a problem for Elida. One of the things that you got to do is, you want to get pressure on the quarterback, but you also want to contain him. And that was a nice throw, just a little bit too much. Now forces Shawnee into really a tough situation to punt here.
So now Stern with the deep punt, never mind. I was going to say a much better one than the first time, but we lost it up there in the sun. And actually, it's better than it looked.
Yeah.
The sun's playing a little tricks on us there, but that one ends up going out of bounds right around the 40-yard line, so Elida once again will have great field position.
Yeah, and so Shawnee, now that you're Shawnee, your mindset is that we've had 2 offensive possessions, haven't been able to get a consistent drive so far. Now we're kind of backed up. They're really going to have to step up the defense here. If you're Elida and you're starting from from Shawnee's 40, Nate, you're immediately thinking every possession is 4 downs. You're going for it. You're past the 50. You're going to be aggressive. You're going to try to get a score here.
I'd like to thank tonight's premier sponsor, John Stockter DDS, as they are the premier sponsor for the Elida Bulldogs, providing dental care for high school sports fans. First play goes for a very short gain as that Shawnee defense was there to stop that one.
Yeah, that was Ben Caprella from his linebacker spot, comes up, makes a great play. Exactly what Shawnee needed. Big first down stop, putting Elida in 2nd and long.
So the Shawnee defense was asked to hold the Bulldogs in the first one in short field. They're going to try to do it here again, 2nd and 9. Magoo sends out Kaufman out wide, looking for that wheel route. Going to go right up the middle. Here comes the help. Great closing that time, and a great job to be able to knock that one away. We saw some great closing speed there from the Indians.
Yeah, nice job defensively. Shawnee lining up in a 4-man front and playing a little bit of man-to-man defense, only with 2 linebackers. On the backside, looked like he was matched up man-to-man. Looked like Dalton Hobson was there playing man-to-man, running with his receiver, made a really nice play on the ball. That
can be frustrating for offenses because they had the receiver open, but one of the things that the Indians pride themselves on is their speed. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of fast guys on this defense, especially in the secondary, starting with the Hobson twins on both sides, as they were part of the track team back in the spring that was very fast, very quick. Joel Stern, another track guy, a lot of speed, and you can see they can get away with some mistakes, and they can make up for it with that makeup speed. And a 3rd down run that time gets cut down by the Indians, and this is going to bring up a big 4th down call. We'll see what Coach Harmon and the Bulldogs want to do.
I really liked Shawnee's response, Nate. I mean, they were backed up in really poor field position, giving Elida a great start, and their defense has just stepped up. I think if you're Elida, you have struggled to get yards here. I liked what they did the last series where they had Magoo line up in a punt formation and kind of had him kind of pooch punt it. Looks like they're going to go for it here, but, at the same time, there looks like there could be some confusion as well.
So here's Kaufman in the backfield with Magoo. Magoo on 4th down. Going to roll to his right. Going to look to get rid of it. Has to go back the other way. Here comes some pressure. Magoo just throws it deep. He has a man. And I'll tell you what, that is tremendous defense that time, as that was going to be number 8. That was Caleb Bacom. And Bacom had looked like he had started to come up on the run there. And as you see on the Pat Sonosa Cream instant replay, we just out of view there a little bit, but you could tell from where we were at, John, he read the receiver. He saw that he was coming down. He just got his hands up, and sometimes that's all you need to do as a DB.
Oh, absolutely, and he recovered. I mean, the ball was in the air quite a bit, and he was able to recover, get his hands up like you said, get that deflection. Really great defensive stop for the Indians, giving them some momentum here.
Well, because a lot of times you see those DBs start panicking. They're like, absolutely. Oh, no, I got beat. I'm trying to play catch-up. Here comes the ball, and they get into the body. You see the pass interference. That was a great heads-up play by the senior. So now a better field position for the Indians this time, as they are not in the shadow of their own end zone. They get 1st and 10 from the 39, as they are still looking for their first Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken 1st down of the game. We'll see if they're able to pick it up here on their 3rd try.
And I think one of the things that you're seeing right now, Nate, even though both teams have a Week 1 victory underneath them, okay, there's a little bit of jitters here, especially offensively. I mean, you can see it. Guys are slipping. Guys are a little nervous because this is a big game, and you can see guys playing a little tight. What I love is the defense is getting after it on both sides.
So it looks like a little bit of confusion here as the offense goes to line up, as Sunderland now going to go in motion, comes towards the near sideline. And we're going to have all sorts of Indians moving, as that one looked like. And actually, I think Shawnee might have gotten bailed out there, as Elida takes the Metzger Financial Services timeout. We'll step aside as well. We'll be back on WOSN.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Coming out of the timeout, Shawnee going to go to the air. They're going to try for a deep shot down the middle. He's got a man with a step. And that is going to be caught by Garlock down at the 20-yard line. A huge catch for the Shawnee Indians.
I tell you what, J.J. Spiker did a great job of maintaining composure and leading Michael Garlock with this pass. Now, he underthrew it just a little bit. I thought Garlock did a really nice job of, it's a little bit sunny out, composing his body, making sure he comes down with the catch. That's the first explosive play that we've seen tonight, Nate, really putting Shawnee in great position to get it first on the scoreboard.
So Shawnee gets their first Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down. They are just outside of the red zone at the 21-yard line. Spiker going to hand this one off to Sunderland. He's going to work on the right side. He picks up about 3 or 4.
And again, I like Coach Wireman's call here. Go right back at the running game. You see guards pulling and trapping and kicking out. Parker Krim flying across the field, making a play. I think one of the things you got to do is identify where he's at. It's actually, they're running away from him, Nate. He's just chasing him down.
But you have to, right?
Exactly.
Like you got to. Who's going to run at Parker Krim at this point? And you got to give him a lot of credit because he recognizes it too, and he is coming and making a lot of ground up very quickly and able to help minimize that gain. Is it a 2nd and 7 for the Indians? Sunderland went into motion, but prior to that, we're going to have a dead ball, and this is going to be the 3rd false start for the Indians, and they're going to have to clean up these penalties.
Well, and Nate, one of the things that, when you get a big win over LCC and you got a new coach, you kind of just think everything went great. But the reality is this is a new system. This is a new program, and so there are still bugs and things to be ironed out here. So I can kind of see some confusion from some of the players in this series here.
Well, and the other part about this, too, the reality is it hasn't been the greatest week in Ohio to practice.
No.
A lot of these guys have been put in black zones from the OHSAA regulation because of the heat. They haven't been out in their normal routine, and that could be playing a part as well. Spiker trying to call his own number that time, and he gets picks up a very minimal gain. That's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Indians.
And Elida responds defensively. I mean, one of the things that Elida does, gives up a big play, but responds defensively, getting themselves now, giving Shawnee a really tough situation. I think they're in 2-down territory, but the reality is that Shawnee has to make something happen here if they're going to get on the scoreboard.
Tonight's presenting sponsor is Elida Building and Contracting. Call Brian Wheeler at Elida Building and Contracting, a commitment to quality and community. Elida Building and Contracting, 48 years of trust, 48 years of experience. And here comes the first big pressure from Parker Krim as he blew up that offensive line of Shawnee. And that play right there may have pushed Shawnee out of field goal range as well, as I think there's going to have to be some decisions here. Are you going to try to punt, maybe get this one out of bounds, or are you going to try to go for it and just see if maybe you can't pick up this first down the hard way?
You almost want to be farther back, Nate, because this is a really tough call here.
Absolutely.
I mean, you really can't punt because you want to be aggressive, but you're not in a great situation. Parker Krim, let's talk about him a little bit. What I love is he's aggressive, but he's not out of control. He keeps his feet underneath him, and as Spiker tries to – he's so shifty, Krim breaks down and makes a huge sack for the Bulldogs.
So big 4th down here for the Indians. Spiker going to go to the air one more time. Looking to go deep. Throws this one out to the sidelines and right through the hands of Garlock. A good defensive pressure by Kaufman as he was able to break that one up, and that's going to be a turnover on downs for the Bulldogs. Real quick on your thought on Parker Krim. Is there a more underrated defensive lineman, Division I prospect that you can remember? I mean, nobody's talking about him, and it's crazy to think that somehow he is underrated right now.
Well, and here's the thing, Nate. I think one of the things about him is that he does so much. He's on the field all the time. He's playing offensive line, which is incredible. For a guy in this size program, he does everything, and so he's given everything the entire game. And so, maybe his defensive stats are not going to be as gaudy as somebody who's just playing one way because they're coming off the field and getting a rest. I love his grit and the fact that he's playing both ways.
Well, he's finally starting to get that attention that he deserves. As we mentioned, a Division I prospect, and he's right back out there, as you mentioned, on the offensive line. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. We're going to have a stoppage first, though, and it looks like, is that going to be another? And it is going to be a timeout for the Bulldogs. It's their 2nd of the half. We'll step aside as well and be back on WOSN.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Tonight's instant replay sponsors, Pat's Donuts and Cream. Visit any of our 4 area locations, including our new location at 600 South Cable Road next to LCC, open daily. First down run for the Bulldogs coming out of the Metzger Financial Services timeout. Nice pickup is going to bring up about 2nd and 5.
You know, and I think that's a name that we haven't heard much. Amari Wash. I know that they try to target him a little bit earlier, getting him in the backfield there. I think, you know, he's one of those players, 5'11", 175-pound junior. I think they move him around. He's kind of like their guy that can do it all. They got to get the ball into his hands and let him make something happen.
Going to be another handoff up the middle. Kaufman met by a whole host, that's what I was trying to say, of Indians right there at the center of the line. Going to be stopped for no gain. And I think you're right about Amari Wash. You know, Coach Harmon said prior to the season that Amari was going to be a focal point of this offense, and he should be. He has game-changing speed. He has good hands. He had a great game last week, catching a touchdown and having some pretty good yardage for the Bulldogs as well. And he is somebody that when he gets a little bit of space and separation, he's almost uncatchable.
And you list him as kind of like that athlete position. You can play slot. He can play on the outside. He can play, you know, the H-back position. That's a guy you want to have the football in his hands.
Big third down here for the Bulldogs. Magoo going to fling this one, and it's picked off. Overthrew his receiver. Bacum going towards the sideline. Excuse me, no, that's Joel Stern as he cut right back up the middle, and I believe I saw a flag late in that one right around the 35-yard line. But the turnover will stand as the Indians come up with the first turnover of the game. Right now, the only decision we made is where they're going to begin this next drive.
Yeah, what a great play there by Shawnee, making a nice job by Stern, picking that ball off. And one of the things was just a little bit overthrown, but Stern did a nice job of keeping leverage. And when you talk leverage, Nate, you're talking about keeping a receiver in front of you. And because the ball was overthrown and because he had great leverage, that was a big pick for the Indians.
So the Shawnee Indians will maintain possession after the turnover. They're going to get back a little bit of the yardage. That time I missed the call. I wasn't sure if that was a block in the back or a hold. But either way, Shawnee is going to come out as they have a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down. And they will see. We saw one big play the last time out. That got them downfield. But then Parker Krim got into the backfield, caused some issues as Shawnee's drive was not able to be sustained. Here's Spiker. Man comes in motion. Spiker going to have to run for his life one more time. Able to shed some blocks. This one out to Caius Richardson, not able to hold on. As you saw the ability of Spiker here in the Pat's Donuts and Cream replay. So he is running away as Parker Krim was bearing down on him. And that Shawnee offensive line is going to have to find a way to give Spiker just a little bit of time. They don't have to give him 5-6 seconds, but they got to give him enough to at least be able to set his feet.
Yeah, and really quickly you seen Elida Jair Morgan quickly broke through, forcing Spiker to be on the run, and unfortunately had to run right by Parker Krim, which he did a nice job. Amari Wash comes up, makes a big play. You're just seeing defense right now, Nate, and you know, I'm impressed with both defensive squads right now.
Spiker going to call his own number on this one, going to bring this one off. He able to bounce off the tackler, continue down as he is so tough to bring down, gets forced out of bounds, but not before he picks up a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down.
And that's the first time we've seen a called running play for Spiker. And I know, you know, after looking at last week, he was such an integral part of this offense. I mean, he was their offense last week. I think that you do have to do that because right now Elida is zoned in on the running game. They've really putting the pressure on him in the pass game. But when you make him, it's really tough to make the quarterback accountable when you're trying to defend the run game.
And in some ways, that might be the best way to slow down Krim from him just plowing through the line to get to him if they have to account for Spiker on those QB draws. They're going to hand this one off right up the middle. Bounced off some would-be tacklers as that is number 21, Isaac Meeks. First time we've called his name tonight.
Now, I like this. I like the change of pace when they go under center. They get a tight end. They get in the eye. I know it's a little bit old school football, but like you said, you can kind of control it. You don't have Parker Krim there. You can kind of control what you're doing.
And that is going to bring the first quarter to a close. We are all tied at 0 with the Indians driving. We'll step aside and be back with the second quarter here on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's first down sponsor is Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Walpock, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, where homestyle happens here. Also like to thank tonight's touchdown sponsor, Fat Jack's Pizza. Get to Fat Jack's Pizza before or after the game and enjoy the delicious pizza, fun games, and ice-cold drinks. Welcome back to Kraft Stadium. I'm Nate Garlock alongside John Zerby as we are just about to get the second quarter underway. The first quarter, all defense, John, but the Indians finally looked like maybe they got a little bit going. We saw a big play on the last time, and as that was a little bit of a high snap, this one's going to be able to get away, and that's going to be a completion on that far sideline. I believe that's going to be to Reese Davidson.
Yeah, and that was a great job by Spiker to go ahead and grab that. It was kind of a high snap, and he got the snap, and he makes a nice throw. Great haul in for Shawnee. Really, Shawnee has had good possessions. They've kind of shot themselves in the foot with penalties and other things as they get down into the red zone. This is their very first opportunity inside the 20 to get a score.
It was another Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down for the Indians. They are 1st and 10 from the 15, and another flag, as I believe this one actually might be on the Bulldogs on the initial sign. And it is. So wow. The Indians finally catch a break. Encroachment on the defense going to give them 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 5 from the 10.
And, you know, one of the things that starts to happen here, Nate, and we all know this from just being athletes playing all kinds of different sports, when it's this hot, fatigue starts to set in. And even a hard count will get guys that are starting to get winded to jump a little bit. I like that call on Shawnee to go with a hard count.
1st and 5, Spiker in the shotgun. Going to take this one, hand it off to Sunderland. Sunderland going to cut it back up to the middle. Going to drive for the sticks. We'll see where they mark him down at, as I believe that may be another first down. And it is. That is a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, a first down. It'll be 1st and goal, Indians from inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, really love that play call. Sunderland gets the ball, cuts it up, does a nice job of finding his guard, Kobe Bentz, gets first down yardage. 1st and goal for the Indians. They are knocking on the door.
So now Shawnee with a fresh set of downs. They're going to try to see if they can't punch this one in, get the first score of the game. Spiker. Snap goes right through his hands, and he's just going to fall on it, cover it up. And, you know, it's a mistake. They continue to shoot themselves in the foot. But I'll tell you what, a week ago, Spiker stays on his feet, tries to get back up. He's picking that up. Then they had that issue with some of those last that led to an actual fumble because Spiker, he's so good and so athletic. He thinks he can, no matter what, he can keep these alive. And sometimes the best play you can make is just going down.
Yeah. One of the old coaching adages is don't make a bad play worse. Like if it's just a bad play, go down. Let's live to play another day. And like you said, Nate, yeah, that's a bad play, but now you still have 3 downs to get a score.
So it's going to be 2nd down from the 14-yard line. Spiker on the clean snap, going to pass this one across the middle. Reese Davidson catches it, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Shawnee.
I love this play. If you see the replay here, what an incredible route. It looks like it's going to be just a quick hitch. He makes it a deep slant, almost like a post, and Spiker hits him right in stride to get the Indians on the board.
So Shawnee has the first Fat Jack's Pizza touchdown of the game, and now we await the extra point as the extra points and most of the kicking duty as far as field goal is handled by, hold on a minute, I should be faster with my roster before I start talking. A professional would have had this one down for you guys. And that kick is up, and it is good. I can't quite see the number. I had them last week.
I think it's 31.
And you are right. Harun Jamai, he had the kick, and that is good. Shawnee up 7-0. We'll step aside, and we'll be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's scoreboard sponsor is Webb Insurance Agency, serving Lima and Allen County for more than 100 years, with offices in downtown Lima and Bluffton. Tonight's touchdown sponsor is Fat Jack's Pizza. Get to Fat Jack's Pizza before or after the game and enjoy their delicious pizza, fun games, and ice-cold drinks. And it is the Shawnee Indians who put up the first Fat Jack's Pizza touchdown of the game. And, you know, John, you can't really ask much more out of a drive. It was pretty efficient. I guess really the only thing that the coaching staff from Shawnee might want is a little bit of cleaner play.
Absolutely. Just one bad snap. But I'm telling you what, Nate, Shawnee is starting to put it together. And they've had drives that has gotten into Elida territory. If they can clean up the mental mistakes, man, they are going to be rolling.
You know, I think the big difference that we're seeing in this Shawnee club compared to last year is these early mental mistakes as an opening up the middle. And Shawnee, as Kaufman, going to bring it up and then get stopped by Shawnee just short of the 30-yard line. But a year ago, I think some of these mental mistakes, some of these penalties, some of these drive killers early would have taken Shawnee out of the
Yeah.
game. I think the mentality that this coaching staff has instilled in this team over the summer has really changed how they look at that. It's just on to the next one, no big deal. It doesn't change what they do, and I really think that's the big difference we're seeing in this Indians club from last year to this year.
Part of being in games, Nate, is just hanging around. I mean, you know, like, there's so many swings and momentum throughout a football game, and there's such long games. I mean, sometimes they just seem to take forever. Shawnee showing a lot of grit and a lot of resilience tonight.
Magoo going to swing this one over to Wash. Wash trying to work through. He's going to get stopped for a short gain. And really the first time that we've seen kind of that designed run play for Amari is, you know, Elida wants to get the ball in his hands more as this game moves forward.
Yeah, and I think they have to. I think right now, being down 7-0, they've got to figure out how to get the ball into their playmakers' hands.
And we're going to have a timeout on the field for an injury. We'll step aside as well and be back on WOSN.
And the score at 3.
Welcome back. Tonight's instant replay sponsors, Pat's Donuts and Cream. Visit any of our 4 area locations, including our new location at 600 South Cable Road next to LCC, open daily. As Wash gets this one coming out of the timeout, the defense able to chase him down and drop him for a little bit of a loss that time. It's going to bring up 3rd and that'll be 5. They're going to get him back to the line of scrimmage. So it was a nice job by Wash just to get a little bit of space.
Yeah, did a nice job of cutting back. There wasn't really anything play side, so he cut it back. Cole Sunderland did a really nice job of staying home on the backside and making that stop for Shawnee. Elida really still in good position here, 3rd and 4. They've just struggled to get first downs, Nate. Really not doing what Elida offense you typically see them do.
Magoo going to drop back, going to go to the air. You can tell he's trying to go to Wash. His first read not there. Going to go back to the middle of the field. Dangerous pass knocked into the air, and that is going to be, that's going to fall harmlessly to the field. And I think Elida might have been fortunate that time that one wasn't picked off, as Magoo had to throw across his body back to the middle of the field, which most coaches will tell you does not end well usually.
You know, and I'm a little surprised. You know, Elida's been aggressive throwing the ball downfield, and that I get it. Magoo has a big arm and can throw the football, but right now, Nate, you need first downs. I mean, you just really need to run some timing patterns. Just pick up the first downs. Once you get past the 50, you can be a little bit more aggressive.
John Stockton DDS is tonight's premier sponsor for the Elida Bulldogs, providing dental care for high school sports fans. 4th down punt coming for Elida. They are able to just get that one away. It's going to be a low line drive. Going to check up for the Indians, and maybe a dangerous job that time to try to cover that one up, as it looked like it was going to check up harmlessly, as Shawnee was fortunate that maybe they didn't give that one right back. But either way, they're going to get a fresh set of downs and see if they can't carry that momentum from their last offensive drive.
Well, they've scored. They've driven the ball on Elida. They've continually gotten stops. Nate, I can only think that the confidence is growing. If you're Elida, something's got to happen here. Somebody needs to play. This would be a great time for the Bulldogs to get a turnover. I mean, if they can get a turnover, momentum could be shifted their way.
We'll see if Shawnee wants to keep it on the ground, or if maybe they try to take a shot here to capitalize on the momentum they have coming their way. They're going to go quick to the opposite side. Reese Davidson working through some traffic. He's going to get taken down after about a pickup of 6. So the Indians just continuing with those short passes. But like we mentioned earlier, I really do think that's when Shawnee is at their best. 2-3 drops for Spiker. They get it out of his hands. You really neutralize Parker Krim in that pass rush at that point. And right now it's being very effective.
Timing patterns are great. I mean, you can work on those at practice when they're short and they're sweet. You can get them out in space. I really love that first down play call, because now you're at 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, giving your offense an opportunity to be a little bit aggressive here on 2nd down if you have to be.
Got a one-on-one matchup here on the near sideline. Spiker going to keep it himself, though, right up the middle. No reason for Shawnee to try to get fancy here, as Spiker is going to carry this one for about 5 yards, and he'll pick up Elise Famous Recipe Chicken, first down.
And we mentioned it in the last drive, getting J.J. Spiker in the running game. I know that he can do a lot with his feet, but called running plays is great, because, once again, most defenses are designed to not cover the quarterback, giving you that advantage there, getting another Shawnee first down.
7:56 left to go here in the half. Shawnee up 7-0. They are 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. 3 wide receivers out for the Indians. Spiker going to send Joel in motion. Stern going to take the handoff, going to work along that near sideline, and he's going to pick up about 3 yards on that first down carry.
Getting close to that 50-yard line. I really like what Shawnee's doing offensively as well. Lots of formations, lots of motions. That's really tough to defend. I know if you're a defensive coordinator, you're going into the week, the more formations, the more plays, the more looks that you have to prepare for. It's really difficult for your defense to adjust to everything that you see.
2nd and 7 for Shawnee. Spiker joined in the backfield by Cole Sunderland. Spiker going to drop back, roll to his right, going to look to go to the air. Going to look back the other way, has to avoid some traffic, and then he avoided that initial, but look who was there for the cleanup. Big number 50, Parker Krim.
And Nate, this is just like a coaching thing, and you know, maybe fans like this stuff, maybe they don't, but Parker Krim does a great job of not chasing the quarterback. He's always about taking the right angle, and that time there, he could have been chasing deep, and if he does that, he overruns J.J. Spiker, but instead, he stays home, and he just follows the line of scrimmage, and when Spiker finally breaks that first level, Krim's there to make a big play. That's
a great camera shot there by a cameraman here at WOSN. You could see the exhaustion right there on J.J. Spiker's face. He looks tired as it is hot. He is expending a lot of energy here on this 3rd down, as right now I think the Shawnee coaching staff just wants to maybe try to give their offense a little bit of a breather here before a big 3rd and 10. Shawnee on top, 7-0. We got a Metzger Financial Services timeout on the field. We'll take it as well and be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Our first down sponsor for tonight is Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Wapak, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, where home style happens here. So timeout before a big 3rd down play for the Indians. 6:17 left to go here in the half. Spiker in the shotgun. Sunderland to his left. Spiker going to drop back. Have to get rid of it. Here comes Parker Krim. He's going to throw this one deep. Davidson going to try to adjust. And there's some contact as Davidson tried to come back, but no flag on the field. And that is going to bring up 4th and 10 for Shawnee.
And I know people may say, well, why no call? I kind of like that no call, because at that point, the ball up in the air like that, all the defenders are kind of rallying towards the football. The receivers going for the football. It's kind of fair game. Wasn't a ton of contact. I like the no call. Elida gets a much needed stop.
So on their own side of the 50, the Indians will punt this one away. Joel Stern back. He awaits his opportunity for his 3rd punt of the night. Stern with a good snap, gets rid of this one. A good punt by Joel Stern, as this one is going to hit right around the 3-yard line before going into the end zone. A great punt by Joel Stern, but a fortunate bounce for the Bulldogs will bring this one out. And we're going to have to see. I mean, the Bulldogs, John, you've talked about it a couple of different times. They just need to find a way to get some first downs right now.
I think they're out of rhythm, Nate. I feel like they really haven't been able to establish the run game. The passing game, I'm not real sure. You know, they've tried some downfield throws, some routes that, you know, are a little bit deeper. I really think you just need some confidence right now. Maybe running the football, getting the ball into Mari Wash's hands and then also just timing patterns. Maybe some hitch, a slant, just some confidence, getting a first down to get the Bulldogs in rhythm.
Now Ryan Magoo back in shotgun, waits the snap, going to hand this one off. As Kaufman works through some traffic and is just tripped up. He had one man to beat before he had the entire field in front of him, and the Indians fortunate with the shoelace tackle here.
Yeah, great tackle there by Nathan Luna. If Nathan Luna doesn't make that play, he's going to the house. Cameron Kaufman's going to the house. But that's what Elida needed. A good first down. Now you're 2nd and 3. You know, you've got plenty of time. Get this first down, get going, get in rhythm.
2nd and 3. And we'll see if this is going to be on the offense, and it is. So kind of like what we saw out of the Indians in the first quarter, where they have some good pickups and shoot themselves in the foot with a penalty. The Bulldogs do it to themselves here in the 2nd quarter.
And I think it looked like there was even a miscommunication on the snap. It looks like the center kind of moved a little bit. But those mental mistakes, again, 2nd and 3 is now 2nd and 8, which really negated a really nice first down play.
Magoo and Kaufman in the backfield. Magoo takes a snap, going to look to go to the air. Looking for the quick slant. Can't get rid of it. Going to be chased down, gets out of trouble. Sends his receiver deep downfield, and we're going to have a flag as Amari Walsh was tripped up, and a pass interference call is coming, and that one is going to go on number 5, I believe, is Joel Stern. I think that's 5, maybe 8. Sometimes it's a little hard up here. The eyes get a little bit older.
Well, I think that's just the play there that's obvious, and I think they got tangled up. Stern was really trying to be aggressive with Walsh, but you have to be. I mean, he's got man-to-man coverage that deep on the field. He's got to do what he's got to do. Sometimes that means you just get tripped up and you take the pass interference and give Elida a new fresh set of downs, but Walsh is not in the end zone. I guess that's the alternative.
So Elida, one way or the other, they did end up with a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down. That is what they needed. Let's see if they can build on that one. Magoo going to go to the air once again. Going to drop back. Richardson gives chase, and Magoo just gets rid of this one. He's going to bring up 2nd and 10 as Achias Richardson found himself in that backfield very quickly. Magoo had all sorts of pressure coming at him.
And Magoo was trying to avoid that pressure, but Richardson did just such a great job of pushing that tackle back into the quarterback and then forcing Magoo to throw that football away. Now we're 2nd and 10.
And what a heads-up play by Magoo as well, right? Like, you can tell that is a veteran quarterback who has been playing quarterback for a very long time. An inexperienced guy may have tried to force that downfield. That's when you can see turnovers.
Right.
He said, no big deal, chucked it out of bounds, and lived to see another down.
Well, and I think that, that, like you said, it comes from experience. Don't try to make a bad play worse.
5:04 left to go in this one, and another false start. As this one, or excuse me, it's actually delay a game. So Elida right now with some miscommunication on offense. We've seen a false start penalty, now a delay of game penalty, and this will bring up a 2nd and 15 for Elida.
Tough. It's tough. I mean, you're playing against a really tough opponent. You can't play against yourself committing those turnovers.
So Magoo going to try to go to the air one more time. He's going to throw this one deep across the middle. Nobody there. The closest person to that one was number 8, Caleb Bacon for Shawnee. As you can see on the Pat Donuts and Cream instant replay, Magoo felt that pressure and just had to get rid of that one. Was hoping maybe he could leave it out there for his receiver to make a play, and it fell harmlessly to the turf. Brings up 3rd and long for the Bulldogs.
And one of the things we haven't seen Elida do, and Shawnee's been bringing great pressure, this would be a really nice time for a screen because, they've thrown the ball downfield. They've tried to get big plays. I feel like Shawnee's putting pressure on Magoo, and they just need yards. I think if they can get yards here, then maybe they can keep this drive alive.
Magoo takes a snap, going to roll to his left, tries to go, going to throw across his body. Here comes the pressure and some contact. Walsh makes a great play on the sideline. What a tremendous catch, kept his feet in bounds, and that is going to be a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down.
Not only a great catch by Amari Walsh, but watch this throw by Ryan Magoo, Nate. He's running away from his body. Now watch him turn, fire this football. Look at the accuracy. That is a big league throw right there.
On top of all that, he saw that contact coming, knew he was going to take a hit, and it did not deter him at all. So a big play needed. Elida found it, and this drive stays alive. Now they're going to go to the ground. Kaufman going to try to bounce it out towards the sidelines. Slips through the arms of a tackler, and he is off as Kaufman's going to march into the end zone. Elida has their first Fat Jack's Pizza touchdown of the game.
What a great run by Cameron Kaufman. Watch him here on the replay. He gets the inside run. He bounces it outside, breaks tackles, and takes off for pay dirt. Just what Elida needed. Just when you start to think that, man, starting to question some of the things that we're doing as a team and starting to question, are we mentally tough to get through this? And they wrap off a big play there. Nice job by Cameron Kaufman, and what a response by the Elida Bulldogs.
And this whole touchdown was set up by Ryan Magoo and Amari Walsh as Magoo kept that play alive through a strike to Amari Walsh. He did a great job of keeping himself in bounds, ultimately leading to the touchdown run by Kaufman, and we are all tied at 7 here at Kraft Stadium. We're going to step aside, and we'll be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's scoreboard sponsors, Rev Insurance Agency, serving Lima and Allen County for more than 100 years, with offices in downtown Lima and Bluffton. Tonight's touchdown sponsors, Fat Jack's Pizza. Get to Fat Jack's Pizza before or after the game and enjoy their delicious pizza, fun games, and ice-cold drinks. So the Elida Bulldogs finally able to punch in a Fat Jack's Pizza touchdown to tie this one at 7. And we'll see if the Indians are able to answer. And you know, we'll have to wait, obviously, and see how the rest of the second quarter plays out. But that could be huge with Elida getting the ball back coming out of the locker room in the third quarter. If this one stays this way, or if Shawnee gets a quick 3 and out here, Elida could really have an opportunity to blow this one open.
Yeah, and I think if you're Elida right now, you're down 7, Shawnee ready to score once again, and now you respond, getting back in this game, tying it up. Great response by the Bulldogs.
Shawnee with the return along the sidelines, working through some traffic, has an opening out to midfield. What a great return by Jaron Bagley, the sophomore. Found a little bit of space, followed his blockers. As you can see here on the Pat Donuts and Cream instant replay.
Tell you what, Nate, Jaron Bagley, in the 2 returns that he's had, he's been pretty dang impressive. I mean, catching the football, getting upfield, giving Shawnee great field position. What an answer by the Indians.
So now Shawnee with great field position out at midfield, trying to answer the Fat Jacks touchdown from the Elida Bulldogs. We'll see what this offense can do now. Tonight's presenting sponsor is Elida Building and Contracting. Call Brian Wheeler at Elida Building and Contracting with a commitment to quality and community. Elida Building and Contracting, 48 years of trust, 48 years of experience. So the handoff to Sunderland doesn't go very far as he's stopped just past the line of scrimmage to bring up 2nd and 9 for Shawnee.
Great response by the Elida defense. You see Parker Krim there getting in some action. You also see another key player on the Elida defensive line, number 87, Connor Konopka, stepping down and making a big first down stop for the Bulldogs.
All tied at 7 here with just under 4 minutes left to go in the half. 2nd and 10 actually, as they mark that one right at the line of scrimmage. Pass going out deep. Garlock has to go down, gathers that one in for a catch, as that's going to be a pickup of 8.
It's a really nice throw by J.J. Spiker. He puts it in a spot where no one else but Michael Garlock can go down and get it. And he does a nice job of hauling it in, going down to his knees, getting a good second down chunk of yards, so it gives it a manageable 3rd down for the Indians.
It's going to be 3rd and short, and you would think with the success that Spiker's had that maybe we see one of those QB draw runs here with Spiker trying to pick up this first down. Spiker going to send a man in motion, and they are going to draw the defense off sides. Great hard count by Shawnee. And actually, there might be some conversation about whether this was Shawnee or Elida.
I think it's going to be Elida. It looked like
and it is. So automatic first down as the Indians do get the least famous recipe chicken first down on the hard count. Chains are going to move, and Shawnee continues the drive.
I think that's just it's just such an underused part of the game, just that mental side. Having a hard count, especially like I said earlier when it's hot and guys are getting really tired. I love what Shawnee's doing now. 2 first downs on 2 hard counts.
Clock running, 3 minutes left to go here in the half with the Indians inside the 40-yard line. And now we are going to have a flag on the Indians offense as they're going to give those 5 yards right back, and it'll be 1st and 15 Shawnee.
Yeah, I think center Cody Douglas kind of bounced up and down a little bit before he snapped, and you know, that's one of the tricky parts about calling motion. A lot of times the center, especially when it's loud and it's in an environment like this, it's kind of hard to hear. Shook a little bit and got called for the penalty.
So now a little bit of a clock concern maybe if you're the Indians. They do still have 2 timeouts, but we are at 2:40 left to go and counting. As you know that they want to try to get some points on the board before halftime. Spiker, that was a awkward exchange there. Spiker took his offhand here, as you can see on the Pat Donuts and Cream instant replay, and he moved his running back as it looked like maybe he was expecting Sunderland to come underneath him for some help, protection help. They obviously it was a design play to get the ball over to Garlock. So a heads-up play by Spiker. He didn't panic. He just moved Sunderland out of the way, fired the ball, and nice pickup on first down to make it 2nd and 8.
There's a reason why Spiker's playing quarterback, because he's pretty smart, and that was a good job of readjusting. Same play from 2 plays ago, hits Garlock for another big first down chunk. And
another false start for Shawnee. Very uncharacteristic of this team, as we mentioned, only 2 penalties for 10 yards, and that is by my very, very unofficial count, at least I believe their 4th or 5th one here this half.
Yeah, and that's, you know, like I said, I talked about Elida just a few moments ago. You're playing at your opponent, but you can't play yourself either. And you're getting, you know, Shawnee has been able to run the football. They've shown just lately they've been able to have some timing routes and get nice chunk yards But when you couple that with penalties, Nate, it is really difficult to move the football.
So now it's 2nd and 13 as the first down play by Garlock was wiped away. Spiker going to go alongside of the field, and he just had to chuck that one out, and that one goes out of bounds as the Elida defense was right there. Parker Krim getting a little bit of help as he's trying to stay in, but his teammates are, we'll see. As you got to imagine, they want Parker Krim to stay in here on this 3rd down, but he looks a little banged up as you see him holding his stomach. He does not want to come out of this game, but he will jog off, and hopefully he's okay, as maybe he just took a tough hit there, and he'll only need a play or two. And we're actually going to have a timeout, so actually it may help Elida if Parker Krim can get himself together, be able to come back in. Shawnee takes their 2nd Metzger Financial Services timeout. We'll take it as well. We'll step aside and be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Tonight's first down sponsor is Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Walpock, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, where homestyle happens here. So Shawnee takes the timeout, and we said that maybe that was a mistake before we went to break, as they had an opportunity to have 3rd and down without Parker Krim on the field. The timeout gave Krim enough time to recoup. He is back out there, and we'll see if he's able to cause any issues here or if Shawnee can pick up the first down. Here comes Krim. He went right through J.J. Spiker trying to keep this one alive. Needs one more block. He gets it, works back towards the middle of the field, and here goes J.J. Spiker. Needs one more block. Reese Davidson gets it to him. J.J. Spiker in for the touchdown. And actually there is a penalty back at the 50-yard line. All of that, I believe, is going to end up being for nothing. As I was watching the play, did you see what happened behind? And there it was right there, a big block in the back.
Man, I couldn't see anything but J.J. Spiker just looking amazing. That's too bad that they get called that back, because what an incredible play by Spiker. But they get that call, that block in the back like you mentioned. It's going to bring this one back. It's a shame, because that was a phenomenal, beautiful run by Spiker.
Well, when they watch, we had a great look at it there on the Pat's Donuts and Cream Instant Replay. But as Shawnee watches this film tomorrow and sees that one, they're going to be really upset, because ultimately that block was not necessary. Spiker was already beyond that play. He was on his way. That touchdown was going to happen whether or not they got that block. And now you're going to have 3rd and forever for Shawnee with 1:15 left to go.
And that's one of the things I always found really tough in coaching, because you want to teach kids to play hard no matter what and play until the whistle. But you also want to tell them, when the ball's in front of you, quit playing. You know, like stop. Like you can't do anything at that point. But it's just really difficult for kids to have that balance of when to shut it down.
So it is going to be 3rd and 28, and now it's going to be Elida's turn to take the Metzger Financial Services timeout, as they want to make sure everybody's on the same page and lined up. They don't want to risk the long play. So we'll step aside once again. We'll be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's presenting sponsor is Elida Building and Contracting. Call Brian Wheeler at Elida Building and Contracting, a commitment to quality and community. Elida Building and Contracting, 48 years of trust, 48 years of experience. Tonight's scoreboard is brought to you by Webb Insurance Agency, serving Lima and Allen County for more than 100 years with offices in downtown Lima and Bluffton. Webb Insurance Agency scoreboard shows 7-7, 1:16 left to go in this one, and a 3rd and 28 facing the Indians, as a big block in the back negated a J.J. Spiker touchdown run. Now we'll see what the Indians can draw up here to try to keep this one alive. But, you know, John, we were talking off air. Right now, Elida is only throwing a 3-man front at this Shawnee offensive line. Parker Krim is finding his way into that backfield almost every single time. They've got to make an adjustment and give Spiker a little bit of time to be able to throw this ball downfield.
I mean, a lot of his yards has come from scrambling, Nate. They got to do something to give him more protection.
And here it comes once again. Spiker going to have to get rid of it. Krim floating down on him. Garlock goes up and gets it. Has to make some yards after catch here. He's going to get drugged down, and I believe that is going to be short of the first down. And it is, but that does give Shawnee some life, as now this is going to be 4th and short, and you got to think the Indians are going to go for it.
They got to go for it, but they got to use a timeout, or, well, actually, they got one timeout. They're going to run out of time if they don't do something with the clock. It might be a good time to go ahead and call a timeout or get a spike. I mean, you don't have a ton of time here, Nate.
Yeah, you can't spike. You're 4th down here. So
excuse me. I'm sorry. You're right. It's 4th down. So, I mean, timeout. This is so critical, but already wasting a lot of time here and trying to get the play call in. And wow.
Now they finally call it. And you almost wonder, as we're going to keep it here during this timeout, is, if you're Shawnee, you're like, all right, it's 4th and 2, it's short. If we don't pick it up, the last thing we want to do is give Elida extra time.
Right.
You know that they can score quickly. They have big play potential. So you're trying to find that middle ground of, okay, where do we let the clock run to? So if we do pick it up, we still give ourselves an opportunity. But if we don't give Elida one.
Exactly.
And that's a hard middle ground to find sometime for coaches.
It is. And I think, in a tight game like this, like we said earlier, it's going to come down to the end. It's going to be a special teams or a big mistake. At this point, you just don't want to give the other team the opportunity. And I think if you're Shawnee, they were in, after that massive play, great response, nice throw, great catch, gets themselves in position. But now with 29 seconds, I mean, I think almost 25 seconds went off the clock before Coach Wireman called timeout. It's just a shame. I wish they could have quickly got that play call in so they got another opportunity here.
So it'll be interesting to see how Elida lines up defensively here. We've been seeing them throw a 3-man front at Shawnee. I'd have to think they're going to put a few more up on that line with it just being 2 yards.
Yeah.
If they don't, Shawnee should recognize that. You would think Spiker just pulls it down, picks up the first down. But regardless of what this play is, if Shawnee picks up this first down, they have got to go quickly. But first things first, they got to get down through this 4th down play. Spiker waits in the shotgun. Going to take the snap. Going to roll to his right. Going to look to go to the air. They're going to throw it deep, back across. This one up and high pointed, and that one is knocked out as Garlock could not grab that one in. A great defensive play that time by number 14, Tyler Dillon, as that was a very difficult throw. As you could see, Garlock tried to catch that one going into the end zone. Spiker just couldn't quite get enough on that one. What a difficult throw as he was rolling away and threw back across his body. And I'll tell you what, it just talks about the talent, though, of Spiker, as a lot of people can't even try to make that throw. He at least gave his receiver a chance.
Absolutely. I love the play call. I love rolling to one side and throwing against the grain, especially on 4th down, because honestly, if you get a pick, Nate, it's okay because the half's about over. Just underthrew it just a little bit. Garlock had a step, but Tyler Dillon does a nice job of recovering and making the stop, getting Elida to halftime with a tie score.
So Elida takes the knee as they know they have the ball coming out of halftime. They don't want to risk anything crazy happening here to end this quarter. It has been a fun quarter. The first quarter, all defense. Second quarter, offenses get going. We've seen some big plays. And going into the locker room, we are all tied at 7. We will step aside, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll have tonight's halftime show brought to you by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac. We'll be right back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's halftime sponsor is the Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer in the greater Lima area. Serving Lima for over 100 years, we are proud to call this home. Welcome back to Kraft Stadium. I'm Nate Garlock alongside John Zerby, and we are into halftime here of a 7-7 tie game. And John, not a lot of offense, but it's kind of surprising based on some of the big plays that we've seen.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a testament to how tough these defenses have played.
Man, they have both defenses have answered. And you've seen a shift in momentum both times. Elida had the momentum, then Shawnee gets it back, and then Elida kind of recovers. And it's just been a back-and-forth game. And, as you look at it, you look at the keys that we talked about at the beginning of the game, both teams are being successful. Shawnee really limiting Elida in their explosive plays. They've been able to get pressure on Magoo, and also they have been able to establish their run game, just penalties. I mean, they have been driving, Nate, penalties. And Elida, they are winning the line of scrimmage. They're winning up front, but mental mistakes as well. And special teams. Special teams has really cost Elida. 2 big returns by Shawnee has given them good field position.
Yeah, they had some luck there early in the first quarter. They were able to get a hand on a punt by Joel Stern to give themselves excellent field position that they couldn't cash in on. But after that, the punt game from Shawnee really kind of turned things around, gave the Indians back the field position battle win, if you will. And outside of some broken tackles, a great play by Amari Wash on a sideline on a deep ball, and then we saw Cam Kaufman able to shake off a tackler for their touchdown. Elida has really struggled to get things going offensively. We haven't seen a lot of first downs out of them. They are going to have to make some adjustments to get Ryan Magoo a little bit more comfortable. You talked about maybe some of those quick slant passes, some things like that as well.
And I think that's what the coaches will do. Coach Kyle Harmon's really good at going in at halftime, figuring out kind of what was working, what wasn't. But I just think simplicity, give them some confidence right now. They're throwing the ball down the field, and you can see the zip on his arm and all those things, but guys are not quite open like they need to be. So I just think some timing routes, some quick hitters, getting first downs is going to be key for the Bulldogs.
We have a big rivalry game here at Kraft Stadium. We expect nothing less in the second half as well, as these teams have been getting after it. We've seen some big hits, we've seen some turnovers, and some big plays. It's been exciting, and this one's going to go down to the wire, I can tell already. Make sure you don't go anywhere. When you come back, we will have the kickoff to the third quarter here on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's scoreboard sponsor is Webb Insurance Agency, serving Lima and Allen County for more than 100 years, with offices in downtown Lima and Bluffton. Tonight's instant replay sponsor is Pat's Donuts and Cream. Visit any of our 4 area locations, including our new location at 600 South Cable Road next to LCC, open daily. Welcome back to Kraft Stadium here in Elida. I'm Nate Garlock alongside John Zerby. And John, we talked about it during our halftime show, a very competitive first half. The defense has really shined, but we saw the big play potential out of both of these offenses.
Right, and I think that's something that you look at in the second half. Shawnee really wanted to limit those explosive plays from Elida. We've seen that one drive that Elida had, 2 explosive plays ending up in a touchdown. Shawnee getting momentum. They're getting first downs. Their biggest opponent right now is themselves, causing themselves penalties, backing themselves up. If Shawnee can just kind of clean that up, I can see them getting long drives and some potential scores this half.
Well, Elida will have an opportunity here to come out and see if they can't get the offense going quickly. And, we saw towards the end of that half where they had some drives, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot as well with penalties. But they'll have the opportunity here. We'll see what kind of adjustments Coach Harmon made in the locker room. As we mentioned it quite a few times, you would think that Elida would really be making a more conscious effort to get the ball into Amari Wash's hands. He has dynamic playmaking ability. He has a lot of speed. Shawnee, though, has done a great job of limiting him so far in this game.
They've really done a nice job of focusing on him. I think Elida's tried to make their plays downfield more and, just get Amari Wash the football, whether it's a sweep, whether it's a jet sweep, or it's just maybe a bubble pass. Get him out in space, let him do his thing. Scheming it up sometimes isn't always the best thing on paper. It may look like it's not going to work, but guys like Amari Wash make plays on their own. Get Amari Wash the football this half.
Reese Davidson, he gets ready to kick it away for the Indians. We are just about underway here for the third quarter. Davidson took some time off of football, but he has been a big asset for this Indian team so far this year. But this opening kickoff has an opportunity to cause some problems. A great job by Wash moving around, and he gets thrown down, and here comes the flag as Jaron Bagley grabbed a hold of Wash, didn't let him go before slamming him down on the ground. I believe we're going to see a horse collar.
It's one way to get Amari Wash the football, let him take the kickoff return, that's for sure. Does a nice job. You can see the athletic ability there, and that's a tough play because you're trying to make a tackle there, and you get your hands wrapped around him and you get a penalty for it.
Well, and I'm not an official, but he wasn't in the pads. You could see on an instant replay he actually had the jersey. Now, he was inside the jersey up top pulling it around, and it is going to be a horse collar, though. So horse collar against the Indians, and they actually do have a player down as well. So we're going to step aside as they tend to him. We'll be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's first down sponsor is Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Walpock, Delphos, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, where homestyle happens here. John Stocker DDS is tonight's premier sponsor for the Elida Bulldogs, providing dental care for the high school sports fan. The Elida Bulldogs have excellent field position to begin their first drive of the second half, thanks in part to a horse collar penalty, and that's just what you were talking about right there, John. A quick slant, and that is going to be enough for a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down.
And, immediately getting the ball in Amari Wash's hands. He's touched the ball twice already. on the kickoff return, and now a beautiful slant route, getting him in space. This is what Elida needs. These are just called confidence builders. Get these short yardage plays, get yards, get first downs. Now Elida immediately in Shawnee territory.
Ryan Magoo back in shotgun. He waits the snap. Going to hand this one off to Kaufman. Kaufman going to work through some traffic. Found some space. Picked up 4 yards on that first down. You can see on the Pats Donuts and Cream instant replay, Kaufman does a nice job of working through that traffic and not going down upon first contact.
You know, one of the things I'm thinking about early, I know it's early in the second half, but you're going to start to see guys cramp. It's just been so hot. And I think if you're Coach Kyle Harmon, you don't want to be in a hurry-up mode here. You really want to take as much time off the clock, shorten this game. Because if you can outlast your opponent, even physically, then it gives you a better shot of being outlasting them on the scoreboard.
Magoo going to fake the pitch. Going to be Chase. Has to get rid of this one. And a great throw and catch. And that one is going to get caught right in front of, I believe that's Chase DePalma defensively. And the catch was made by, see if we can't see here on the instant replay. I wasn't able to, so maybe 7. We'll look one more time.
Looks like it's
here.
87, Connor Konopka making a great play. His numbers, like I said Nate earlier, I think we're just maybe getting old because they're really hard to see, man.
Yeah, well, there's tinted windows up here. It's dark. We'll blame the surroundings.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Either way, it was a lead. Same as Recipe Chicken. First down for the Bulldogs, and they are driving. Kaufman going to drive right through the middle, looking for those tough yards. And Shawnee does a nice job of forcing him back. That's going to bring up a second down, I believe, right around the maybe 7-yard line.
Elida's really in good position here, being inside the red zone. Now they're marching inside the 10. Second down and 6. I'd have to think here. I know you ran the ball on first down, but I'd have to think some way, somehow, you want to get the ball out in space. Maybe Magoo on a quarterback keep here.
So they're going to send Kaufman. He's going to keep it right up the middle. Great call, John, as he was able to pick up a couple of yards, gets it inside the 5-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down for the Bulldogs.
Now you got short yardage. I'm not sure you got a power back. Your best option for power may be Ryan Magoo. 6'4", 205 pounds. But I still say, and I'm not one that question coaches' play calls, because I think one of the things, you know, it's easy for the fan or the person watching to call plays, but you haven't been in practice all week. You don't know what the game plan is. You don't know what guys have been able to do or don't do. But I still think you want to get the ball out in space and try to get to the edge and get into the end zone here.
So here's Magoo. Waits for the shotgun. He is going to pitch it off to Wash. They try to get it in space. He had a big hole, and who did they run behind? Big number 50, Parker Krim, as he makes a gigantic hole, as you can see here. Pushes him right out of the way, seals it. Amari Wash follows him right into the end zone, and Elida is on top with the Fat Jack's Pizza touchdown.
And that, great adjustments at halftime by Coach Kyle Harmon. He comes out, immediately sets the tone on special teams. We know Shawnee had won the special teams battle, and Elida says, we got to be better on special teams. Gets great field position, quickly comes out, gets some easy plays. Elida first on the scoreboard in the second half.
Extra point try is up, and it is good. Elida goes on top, 14-7. They take a lead here to open the 3rd quarter. We'll step aside and be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's touchdown sponsors, Fat Jack's Pizza. Get to Fat Jack's Pizza before or after the game and enjoy their delicious pizza, fun games, and ice-cold drinks. The Elida Bulldogs strike first here in the 3rd quarter as they put up a Fat Jack's Pizza touchdown, and they are on top 14-7. And you couldn't ask for a much better start out of the Bulldogs if you're Coach Harmon.
Yeah, immediately they answered. And a lot of times that first drive of the 3rd quarter is an indicator of what the second half's going to be. Shawnee's going to have to respond here offensively.
Here goes the kickoff. It's going to be deep, and it was tried to be fielded by Bagley, and I think that's one of those ones where when he gets over the sidelines, the coach is going to be like, hey, plant your feet over your head, let it go, don't try to do too much. But it does end up going out the back of the end zone, and that'll be a touchback for the Indians.
And for Elida, another big special teams play. Whenever you can kick off and get a touchback, you make it a long field for your opponent. Shawnee's going to have to get something going offensively. Like we said earlier, what is the adjustments going to be? What's Coach Wireman going to do in the second half? I really think they continue to do what they've done so far. They just got to cut out the mental mistakes. So many false starts, so many penalties that really hampered them. If they can clean that up, I think Shawnee's got a really good opportunity to respond here.
All right, now it's going to be Shawnee's turn. J.J. Spiker had a good first half. They're going to hand this one off to Achias Richardson. He's just going to battle right up the middle of the field there. They just try to pick up some tough yardage to give them a little bit of space there on first down.
And I like that call. I like them on that first down play, establishing the run game. It's going back to the keys of the game. They want to get the run game going so they can get some movement. The problem is that Elida's defensive line, led by Parker Krim, has been just staunch. But I'm telling you what, Parker Krim has kind of got banged up there in the second quarter. He's still kind of struggling here, Nate. It looks like he's going to run off the field.
The officials actually stopped at that time and sent him off. So Parker Krim going to have to come off for at least a play. Hopefully he'll be okay. And we're going to get the second down underway.
That's a massive loss for the Bulldogs. If Krim was kind of holding his hamstring, hopefully he'll be back in there soon.
Quick pass out to the outside. Garlock not able to hold on to that one. I think he saw or heard footsteps, took his eye off of that one. Not good fundamental football that time. I think he'll get a talking to when he gets home about that.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a critical game here, and there's a lot on the line. Teams come out tight. I would say that first drive, Elida getting that touchdown really, puts Shawnee in a position where, like you mentioned a year ago, maybe they give up, but I think they got to show some resilience here. They got to show a little bit of grit and try to get back into this thing.
Big third down here for the Indians. Spiker going to drop back, going to go to the air. A great job by Reese Davidson, as he did not find that coming out of his break. And you can see that the Elida coaches were trying to say no dice. And it looks like Davidson hopefully is just cramping as he is down. So they're going to have to check on him. We'll step aside and be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Tonight's instant replay sponsor is Pat's Donuts and Cream. Visit any of our 4 area locations, including our new location at 600 South Cable Road next to LCC, open daily. So Reese Davidson able to walk off under his own powers. I think we're going to see a lot more of those cramping issues tonight, John, as this one goes on.
Man, I would keep like 8 gallons of pickle juice on the sideline just to have salt, as much salt in the body as you can.
A little bit of a counterplay here. Gets Sunderland the ball in space. As Cole Sunderland had a big game for Shawnee last week. He has been quiet here so far, but a big pickup on first down, and that is going to be enough for Eli's Famous Recipe Chicken, first down.
And once again, Shawnee, I feel like the minute Elida gets any momentum, I love Shawnee's response. I mean, they do. Now they're driving the football at the 50-yard line. They just have kind of a grit about them, and I know I've used that word a couple times, but I really like their resilience and bouncing back after having their backs up against the wall.
J.J. Spiker sends his man in motion. They're going to hand it off to Stern. Stern tries to get the edge, has to cut it back up, and he's going to get cut down after a pickup of about 1.
Well, and if you look at even schematically here, Parker Krim is not on the field, Nate.
Yep, I was just about to say, Krim, we've seen him go off a couple of times, but he's only missed maybe a play, if that. And he's been off for an extended period of time right now. And actually, do you see him on the sidelines?
I know Elida's trainer, Jazz Wagner, was working on him, trying to get him back.
Unless that might be who's down
out
right in front of us.
Yeah.
It looks like maybe she's stretching him out, yeah.
But trying to get him back on the field. There she is, working him good. But if you're Shawnee, you might want to take an advantage here. You might want to, at some point, take a shot with Parker Krim off the field.
Gus and Stern in motion yet again, and another false start as Shawnee just cannot seem to get out of their way right now. And these penalties are really starting to rack up on them.
Well, tomorrow's film session is going to be ugly. I'm telling you. Coach Wireman's going to be he's going to be upset, and one of the things he's going to be upset about is this. I mean, again, we've talked about it being warm. We've talked about it being hot and all those things. But the reality is, Nate, is that Shawnee has got to stop shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, and I think what's more frustrating too, and I mean you could probably speak on this more than I can, but it's got to be those have got to be the most frustrating penalties if you're a head coach, because that's a communication issue. That should not be something that is a repeated offense in a game at this point in the season. Spiker going to roll out, going to look to go deep. They're taking a shot, jump ball on that far sideline, and they're going to say out of bounds.
Wow.
As it looked like Garlock did come down with it, but he couldn't keep his feet in bounds. A great job adjusting, and that is close.
Really close. Great catch by Michael Garlock. Good coverage, too. But one of the things I noticed is Spiker had some time to throw. He had an opportunity to hit the corner, threw a nice ball. Garlock went up, made a great catch. The official was down there. Looked like he may have got a foot into me, but,
That was a pretty good catch. Maybe he'll get a reprieve on the missed throw in hands. Maybe we'll cancel those out. And
I think the kid deserves dinner tonight, Nate. I really do. Come on now.
Big third down yet again here for the Indians. They were able to convert last time. We'll see what they come up with here. Spiker going to roll around. This time, Elida did a great job reading it. They set up the screen to the other side. Sunderland gets cleaned up, as it looked like for a minute the Indians had that set up perfectly. Yeah. But Elida is able to snuff that out. A great throw and catch, but an open field tackle and maybe a missed block that time as Sunderland gets taken down, and it's going to be 4th and 6. Looks like Shawnee's not going to take a chance, and they're going to play the field game position.
Yeah, one block, Nate, and I think that's an explosive play. I mean, Noah Jospel does a good job of eluding that block and making a big play for the Bulldogs, but that was a perfect play call. I mean, that was just set up perfectly. It had everything blocked just right except for one guy, and that one guy makes a play.
4th and 7. Stern waits for the punt. They're going to have to hurry. Play clock is coming down as they just get rid of it. And Stern lets off another great punt. Wash down there, able to gather it in as he's going to work to that far sideline. A lot of Indians in pursuit as they're able to force him out of bounds right around the 22, 23-yard line. Good return by Amari Wash.
Yeah, and a great punt. I mean, it was great, great field position for Shawnee. Did a nice job inside the 10-yard line, but watch Wash here doing a nice job of reversing the field, using the wide side of the field, and just getting yards. I mean, even at the end there, getting himself almost to the 25-yard line, putting Elida in decent field position, but really a good decision by Shawnee to punt the ball and make Elida go the entire field.
So it looks like – no, I thought we were going to have a timeout as you saw Shawnee going to the sideline, but it looks like Coach Wireman just wants to get one last kind of little pep talk here to his defense before he sends them out. And maybe not. Not really sure what's happening right now, as there's been no whistle. I'm not sure if we're in a timeout, and it looks like maybe we are. I'm not real sure what's going on
here,
John.
Either. I'm not sure either, Nate. I haven't seen anything come off the scoreboard, and maybe it's just the officials giving them a chance to get some water. Yep.
Which I've seen that quite a bit this week in high school sports. And, no matter what that sport was, there's been extra water break, extra time, just trying to keep kids hydrated and okay. And my guess is after the first couple of drives with as many cramping issues as they saw, they're just trying to get these kids a little bit extra hydration.
Well, and as a fan, you're going to say you're interrupting the flow of the game, but your job is to keep these kids safe. And you know what? Right now, it's been a tough game. Giving them some extra water is a good idea.
They're going to try to go to Wash one more time. And Shawnee, very fortunate that Wash did not catch that one, as that was the exact same play that we saw in the first drive. Just that quick slant went right through Wash's hands. If he catches that, the defense is going one way, he's going the other, and with his speed, that could have been trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great play call, and just not enough to complete that pass. But I love the play call by Coach Kyle Harmon. Don't be shocked, Nate, as you see down there Amari Wash in single coverage if they don't go back to him here.
This time they're going to hand it off up the middle. It's going to be Kaufman working through some traffic. He's going to be cut down. Well, too, and I think the more we see those slants, right, what is that going to do? That's going to force Shawnee to try to take that away.
Absolutely.
And I don't know about you, but I don't want to take Amari Wash on in a foot race in a straight line.
Absolutely
and
not.
That's going to be there if they have to continue worrying about that slant pass.
They're going to have to remove a linebacker from the box to kind of just to fill that area if they're going to do that, and that now will open up the run game, which I think Coach Kyle Harmon was trying to do there. But even in this situation, the incomplete pass on third down puts them in really 3rd and 6 is manageable, but it's not great.
3rd down and 6. Magoo with an empty backfield. 4 wide receivers. Takes a snap, going to look to go to the air. Here comes everything. They set up the screen. They get it to Wash. Wash right up the middle of the field, and he loses his feet. As sometimes when you're fast, you can almost hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And he was, I think his feet were moving faster than his body was ready to go.
I'm pretty sure I seen like a little bit of smoke on the grass there. Like he was flying. Love the play call. I mean, I've seen 2 screens now. One from Shawnee and one from Elida. I think you have to. I think early on, teams are being aggressive. Defensive lines are getting after it, trying to get after the quarterback. But you gotta get the screen game going to kind of slow down that pressure from the defensive line. So
that was a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken at first down. They're going to hand this one off to Kaufman up the middle. He's going to get stopped after a gain about 4. Tonight's presenting sponsor is Elida Building and Contracting. Call Brian Wheeler at Elida Building and Contracting. Commitment to quality and community. Elida Building and Contracting, 48 years of trust, 48 years of experience. So Elida driving, as you see Kaufman come off the field. As they continue to work on Parker Krim on the sideline, trying to keep him from cramping, hoping to get him back into the game. But right now, Elida's offense not missing him too much, as they're doing a nice job on this drive.
And taking time off the clock. I mean, they've really done a nice job of using the entire play clock down to 5 before they get a play off.
That time, Elida in the backfield in a hurry. They blow that one up. Achias Richardson is fired up after that play.
And hasn't Achias Richardson been impressive tonight? I mean, how many guys are a running back, a fullback, a tight end, a defensive lineman? I mean, this guy has just done it all and makes a huge play for the Indians.
Big third down here for the Bulldogs. John's Doctor DDS is tonight's premier sponsor for the Elida Bulldogs, providing dental care for high school sports fans. 3rd and 7 after that big play by Achias Richardson, as the Indian defense trying to stop them here and force them off the field. Magoo has trouble with the handoff. He just has to get rid of it. Yeah. And I don't think that one got back to the line of scrimmage, as that dropped in front of the official, but I don't see a flag. And I think Elida might be fortunate on that time that it wasn't intentional grounding.
Achias Richardson he just had an incredible few plays there during that series. And Elida went empty, and Shawnee manned up on the outside. Here's the thing, Nate. The snap wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure Achias Richardson would have been there anyway. I think that his pressure and his disruption forces Magoo to have to throw the ball away anyway. Great answer by Shawnee.
So it looks like there's some confusion. I'm not sure if Elida was thinking about maybe not punting, or maybe we have to look for a fake here, as there was some miscommunication on, it looked like a couple of things, but here comes the snap. He's going to roll away. Magoo's punt is off, and fair catch signaled by Bagley. Bagley's going to down that one at the 20-yard line, and despite a couple of big plays, Shawnee's defense comes up big. They hold Elida, and they have a chance here to see if they can't get a score before the third quarter comes to a close.
You know, Nate, I know that if you're watching the game, you're seeing a lot of defense, and maybe you're seeing some mental mistakes here, but the reality is that I feel like this game so far has just been really, really, it's been kind of like an old school game, if you know what I mean. Like 14-7, both teams are grinding it out. Both teams are going after each other, getting aggressive, making stops defensively. I mean, maybe it's not what fans want to see. They like to see scoring, but I love this because you can just see the kids really getting after it.
Well, and you're seeing big hits and big plays. Like Achias Richardson doing a great job on that defensive side. And then you had Parker Krim for Elida. They're going to miss him if they can't get him back into the game, but he is up, shaking loose, and you know that the Elida faithful are hoping to see him here very soon. Handoff right up the middle for the Indians to get this drive started. Pickup of probably about 4 on that one.
You know, it's so funny. This is just how high school sports are. They worked so long on Parker Krim, and they got him ready. I just think he lost his mouth guard in the process. So they're down on the sideline. Everybody's frantically looking for Parker Krim's mouth guard. Where is it?
You know, and chances are, with the way that the luck works for high school kids, sometimes it's in his helmet somewhere, right?
Probably.
Like that's just how, you're always looking for it, and then it's in the last place you'd expect it to be. Spiker going to drop back, going to look to go deep. Garlock has a step, has to slow down, and we're going to have a pass interference. What a great job by Michael Garlock, as he saw that there was going to be, that ball was going to be underthrown. He'd have to come play back through it. He played through that contact, through the pass interference call. And you know what? A lot of times, John, that is just as good as a completion.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Michael Garlock, I'm gonna give him some credit, even where Dad won't give him credit here. He has been getting behind defenders all night long, and he has been open. Passes have been a little bit short, but right there did a great job of getting open downfield and getting that penalty.
So they're going to march off of the yardage. That is going to be enough for Eli's Famous Recipe Chicken, a first down. And we'll see if Shawnee is able to turn that into anything here. It was a good start to this drive, though, for the Indians, as we saw them move the ball a little bit before getting stalled in their last drive. And you got to think that they know that they need to come away with some points here on this one. Here goes Sunderland. Going to work off that right side, just going to lower his head. And we had a fumble. Ball's on the ground, and no, the officials are going to say down first as the official on the far sideline comes in. And we'll see if we can't get a look here on the Pats Donuts and Cream instant replay. And yeah.
Oh boy.
I think the Elida faithful have a complaint here, as the official on the one side said no, down. The official came from the other sideline and said no, it was out. Now, remember, they don't have the benefit of the instant replay, right? They just got to talk about it.
They don't have the WOSN cameras to come up here and take a look, but if they did, great camera work, guys.
And listen, that was a clear fumble. That was a fumble. Yeah. That should be a turnover. Should be a big play for Elida. If they don't get this is going to be a big call, as the Bulldogs. You can kind of see Kaufman there looking a little confused. Not sure. Maybe he can hear that this conversation isn't going their way potentially.
And, here's the thing, Nate. I don't know what the call is going to be, but I do like that the officials are going to stop and talk about it, and just try to get it right. I'm not sure their line of sight was what was needed, but we're going to hear the call here.
Yeah. So they said there was an inadvertent whistle, and I'm not sure what any of that meant, John. Because they're taking that run away. They're going to be 1st and 10, and I'm not sure what just happened, to be honest with you.
Maybe replaying the down.
Because they just couldn't decide maybe, and that's what, I'm not sure. We'll see if we can get some clarification, because I'm not sure about that one either. But either way, it's going to be 1st and 10. Shawnee may be fortunate enough to keep that one. Spiker going to keep it himself. He's going to run to that right side. Tries to bounce to the outside. Nice block by his receiver, as apparently Garlock can block too, as he's out there doing a good job creating some space, as there was a whole host of Indians doing a nice job of sealing them. Garlock had that last one on the edge working against Kaufman, and that is going to be enough for another Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken first down. So a pretty good reverse of fortune if you're the Indians, as Sunderland looked like he had potentially fumbled. The officials get together. They say inadvertent whistle. They replay first down, and then the Indians turn that into a first down of their own.
Yeah, and you can see this Shawnee offensive line building a little bit of confidence. They're starting to push Elida up front a little bit.
Another counterplay to Sunderland as he's going to try to run through, and the Bulldogs snuff that one out. Amari Walsh comes in and cleans up that play, as Sunderland not able to get any space there.
Yeah, Amari Walsh does a really good job from his defensive back position coming up, but another one who did a nice job is Dominic Coley. He just kind of spread that out and made it linger, made it bounce a little bit, and gave Walsh time to come up and contain and make a great tackle.
48 seconds left to go here in the third. Indians facing 2nd and long. So they have the ball on their own 48-yard line. Spiker back in the shotgun. Going to look to air this one out. Going to have to run. Almost gets tripped up, keeps his feet, and he finds a wide open Joel Stern along the sideline. He makes a man miss. He's going to work to the inside, gets inside the 20, and he is finally tackled out of bounds right around the 12. A big play for the Indians on what looked to be a broken play, but J.J. Spiker keeps it alive. Joel Stern does a nice job working out in space, as you can see here on the Pats Donuts and Cream instant replay. And he fights for that extra yardage before being finally driven out of bounds inside the 20.
Man, J.J. Spiker just makes a great play. Almost a loss of downs. Finds Stern. Stern does a good job of making the catch, Nate, turning, getting his body under control, and then getting big yardage now into Elida territory.
1st and 10 from the 14. Spiker going to keep it himself. Runs right into traffic. J.J. Spiker not afraid of contact in the least, as he's taken down at the 10-yard line.
I know that Coach Wireman wanted to establish the run game, and sometimes you want to do that by getting other guys involved. But we talked a lot about Amari Walsh. I'm telling you what, J.J. Spiker is a stud. He's out there doing tons of things with his arm, with his feet. And if I'm Coach Wireman going into this fourth quarter here, J.J. Spiker is going to have the ball in his hands.
That is going to bring the third quarter to a close, but the Indians are driving and they are knocking on the doorstep of punching this one in, but they find themselves down 7. We'll step aside and be back with the fourth quarter here on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's instant replay sponsor is Pat's Donuts and Cream. Visit any of our 4 area locations, including our new locations at 600 South Cable Road, next to LCC, open daily. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Fourth quarter just about underway here at Kraft Stadium. I'm Nate Garlock alongside John Zerby. You know, and John, it looked like we were going to be in store for a different third quarter than the rest of the game had been. Elida came out. They put it right into the end zone right away, but then that's where the scoring stopped. But here in the last couple of minutes of the third quarter, coming into this fourth, Shawnee is driving. They've hit some big plays, and they really need to punch this one in.
They really do. Going in, they can get a first down to get inside the 5. But I've really enjoyed this game, and I think, like I said earlier, it's not necessarily because there's tons of scoring or anything, but you can just see, I mean, there hasn't been a difference between the teams of 7 points. I mean, that's been the biggest difference. They're going after each other.
2nd and 7 from the 10-yard line. Spiker going to keep it himself. Looks to get into space. He's going to throw it. A great play design that time by the Indians as Spiker is able to find, we'll wait and see here on the replay who he finds, as it looks like it is going to be, is that number 7?
Yeah, it looks like Chase DePalma.
Chase DePalma, as he was the recipient. And that was a great play. That was all set up by the legs of J.J. Spiker.
Absolutely.
They've been running him. If you're the defense, all you've seen is J.J. Spiker take off, take off, take off. And that time, he did just enough to get the defense to sink in. A nice, easy throw out to DePalma. And just like this, it's a 1-point game.
I love that play call. By design, it was awesome because J.J. Spiker's been running the ball. 2 layers there, faking to the back, and then J.J. Spiker faking the run.
And the extra point is good. We are all tied at 14 as this one just got better. This is a rivalry game here in the Western Buckeye League, and it has been everything everybody thought it would be. The Indians and the Bulldogs tied at 14. We'll step aside and be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's touchdown sponsor is Fat Jack's Pizza. Get to Fat Jack's Pizza before or after the game and enjoy the delicious pizza, fun games, and ice-cold drinks. Our presenting sponsor tonight is Elida Building and Contracting. Call Brian Wheeler at Elida Building and Contracting, a commitment to quality and community. Elida Building and Contracting, 48 years of trust, 48 years of experience. John Stocker, DDS, is tonight's premier sponsor for the Elida Bulldogs, providing dental care for the high school sports fan. All tied at 14 here at Kraft Stadium, just underway in the fourth quarter. As Shawnee was able to answer, that's the best they had looked so far here in the second half. We saw a couple of big plays. J.J. Spiker keeping things alive with his leg, doing it with his arm as he found Joel Stern for a big reception. As that got themselves inside the 20 and able to finish it off with a touchdown pass to Chase DePalma. And now it's going to be Elida's turn. I would imagine, I think we're going to finally see Parker Krim come back into the game. He should help with that protection, as the last time Elida's offense was out, Achias Richardson was wreaking all sorts of havoc in their backfield. This one's going to be fielded right around the 5-yard line, brought right up the middle. Nice blocking by the Bulldogs, and not great tackling by the Indians, as you just saw them trying to kind of push him around. And you're not going to get Amari Wash down by just trying to push him off his line. You have to wrap up and be fundamentally sound in your tackling. He's just too good to try to tackle like that.
No. So I struggle with high school kids coaching because they always want to make a big hit. They always want to make, the crowd, the wows and the oohs. And I'm like, those are not good tackles. And a guy like Amari Wash, you just need to get in front of him, break down, and make it the ugliest tackle you possibly can, because he is so fast and so quick. And like you said, guys are trying to run with him, trying to push him, trying to knock him down off his feet. You got to be fundamental, wrap him up, bring him down.
So now the Bulldogs with an opportunity here, looking for an answer. Magoo going to keep it himself, run right up the middle. A big hole opens up as he gets a nice pickup on first down.
And you're seeing both teams starting to run their quarterbacks a little bit, and I think that's really a good idea. You run the risk of injury, but, here's my mentality. Like, quarterbacks are as equally they can be hit. It's not a big deal. And if they're used to running the football, it's okay. Ryan Magoo is a really good runner, and Kyle Harmon knows that. In a critical game like this, you're not worried about any of those things. You're worried about getting another score, getting ahead. I really like that opening play call by the Bulldogs.
Well, and they continue to show that the injuries that he has had in the past are just not a concern. As a big hit in the backfield once again, who is it? Big number 45, Achias Richardson, getting in there and just pushing his man into the backfield. And he was wreaking all sorts of havoc here, John. I'll tell you what.
Listen, we've talked about Parker Krim a lot, but, man, I'm going to tell you what. Achias Richardson has impressed the heck out of me. He is everywhere. He's moving around. He's lining up at different positions on that defensive line, and they just can't block him right now. I mean, he is literally making every play for that Shawnee defensive front.
You know, Achias Richardson has been a very, very good football player for quite a while. You know, he's also a state qualifier in track. He throws over 60 foot in the shot put. He is strong. He is powerful. And you see, right, he's only getting better. Magoo looks to throw this one, a little bit of a wheel route, as there's some hand fighting with Kaufman, but the officials say no. The Elida coaching staff not happy about this one. As we'll take a look here on the instant replay, they may have an argument here.
I like the no call, Nate, and here's why. I mean, again,
it's just some hand fighting. Yeah, I agree with you.
That's
a good no call.
You know, to me, if the guys are doing that kind of stuff, I mean, you've got to give the defensive back a little bit of room to make contact. You just have to.
Well, and I guess here's always my argument, or at least, you know, when you talk to a coach and the counterpoint. You wouldn't want that called against your guy.
Absolutely not.
You would say, no. You want that same advantage. So as long as the officials are calling it even on both sides, those are the ones that you kind of just have to live with.
I agree with you.
So 4th and 5, the Bulldogs back to punt. Magoo in that backfield. He's going to roll, tries to get rid of it, almost blocked as Achias had once again gotten back there. And the Bulldogs fortunate to get that one away. And that one's going to get down right around the 21-yard line. So Shawnee coming off of a touchdown drive and forcing a 3-and-out by the Bulldogs. We'll get an opportunity here to see if they can't seize momentum and potentially go up here. And I got to imagine we're going to see a lot of the same. Parker Krim jogging back onto the field. The Bulldogs hoping that they can keep him on for the entire time, as whenever he's been on, he has caused that offensive line of Shawnee a whole heck of a lot of problems.
Now, I hope I'm wrong, Nate, because I'm a huge Parker Krim fan. I mean, I love him. I think he's just incredible. He was able to call a game a few years ago, and player of the game as a freshman. I mean, incredible. But he's a little ginger out there right now. I'm not sure if he's his normal self. I think if you're Shawnee right now, you got to take advantage of that.
Sunderland going out wide, and I'm not sure what happened that time, as there's going to be a false start, it looks like. And I think a false start is probably going to be that's a false start, as for some reason they're having a lot of problems right now with that center to quarterback exchange.
And Nate, I think at this point, all you really need to do is, you've had so many of those issues, it's cost you so much. Yeah, you'd love to have a hard count. I mean, that's something that I think is underused in the game, but it's cost you. Just go on quick. I mean, just immediately go on the first sound, because how many times have we seen a false start that really bury Shawnee early in their drive?
Yeah, when I don't even know it's a hard count, John, as much as I think just every time they go to send the guy in motion, I'm not sure if the center's picking up on something or what it is, but here comes J.J. Spiker trying to create with his feet. He picks up a short gain, gets it maybe back to the original line of scrimmage.
And to me, when you get a penalty on first down and you get a little bit back, you kind of get that. I mean, it's going to be 2nd and 11. Right now is a really great time for another screen. We've seen that screen earlier, and that aggression by Elida's front four, they're coming after him. A screen or something quick out into open field, letting guys get in space and just getting yards here. You don't have to get all of it. Just got to get some of it.
Spiker looking to try to go deep. Krim, he gets away. Looks like we're going to probably have a hold. Spiker going to let this one go. Ends up in the stands. But it's going to be another flag, and I imagine that Elida will accept that penalty, and we're going to see Shawnee move back even farther.
And see, that's what's you got to think of a lot of levels here. One of the levels is that you're starting to get really deep. It's getting a first down is going to be really difficult. But the other level is that you don't really want to give Elida this kind of field position, because if you're going to have to punt, Well, you know, you don't want them starting at midfield, so you've really got to think
already,
about that. You get yards so you can get a good position to punt the football.
Well, and you also have to think you've already seen Eli to be able to get home and partially block one punt. The last thing you can afford is a block punt this deep in your own area. So you would also think that as this one is 2nd 11, so apparently no. Oh, here they go. Okay, now they're going to mark it off. Okay. So it was a holding. And we'll see what they're able to do. You know, I'd like to see Shawnee get back to what they were doing earlier, where they 2 3-step drops, getting the ball out quickly, picking up 7 8 chunk yards, not trying to do anything crazy. Maybe trying to hit a slant of your own. That's how you got your touchdown. It was wide open earlier. Maybe look to go back to that. See if you can't pick up some yards here. So it is going to be 2nd and 20 for the Indians. Spiker takes the shotgun snap, going to go to the air, decides to pull it down, goes right up the middle, makes another man miss. Here comes J.J. Spiker. Spiker out in the open, has one man he needs to make miss. What a great stutter step as he twisted. I believe that number 7? Either way, J.J. Spiker just continuing to do what he does best, and it was Noah Jospile out there. And a little bit of a stutter step got him to hesitate. Fortunately for the Bulldogs, number 9, Cohen Sullivan, was trailing. And J.J. Spiker, I mean, I'll tell you what, the Western Buckeye League better be on notice because J.J. Spiker, the last 2 weeks, has had his coming out party. And regardless of whether or not the Indians go on to win this game or not, J.J. Spiker has shown that he is the focal point for this Indian offense.
And that is a confidence killer for Elida. I'm telling you what, I hate to look back on this previous play. Great play call here by Shawnee, getting the ball to Cole Sunderland, getting positive yardages. But I love the play call because they had everybody lined up, trips formation, and then they run almost like a QB counter. I mean, it looked like a pass, but it was almost like he knew he was going to run against the grain, away from everybody. What an electric run by Spiker. Wow.
So 2nd and short now for the Indians. You know, and I think that's what makes the Shane Wireman offense so dangerous, too, is he allows his quarterback to make those decisions. I mean, it's not the traditional, as you see another flag come in. Not sure if this will stand or if we're going to have another hold. But it's not a traditional RPO like we may see, but it's an RPO. He has that opportunity, but it's usually calling his own number. It's, you know, am I going to throw it? Am I going to run it? Take what the defense gives me. As you see Shawnee yet again with another penalty. And I lost track a while ago, but they're in double digits at this point. The yardage is starting to rack up. And, you know, if they don't win this game, I think that the number one thing that they're going to have to blame is these mental mistakes and the discipline that or I guess lack thereof, essentially, that caused a lot of these penalties here tonight.
And I would agree with you 100%. I mean, and you know, kind of getting back to talking about the offense, the old RPO used to be when you had a passing play, you had a run-pass option, and now we're so ingrained in this, you know, faking the ball and reading defensive ends and all that. I just like how Shawnee's offense is designed for Spiker.
Spiker looking to go to the air yet again, tries to go towards the sideline, a little bit too much and too high on that one. And not a whole lot going on that side. Nice defensive play that time for the Bulldogs.
And, you know, Nate, you brought up a good point, you know, the penalties. I do think it's I don't want to say the word undisciplined, but I do think it's a little bit of confusion. I think we talked about that earlier. I think new coach, new system. To me, Shawnee looks pretty disciplined. I mean, I think they've been coached really well. I mean, I think that they really – I'm impressed with Coach Wireman and what he's done. So, to me, it's a lot of confusion right now, and I think that will gradually improve as they learn his system.
3rd and long for the Indians. Going to go to the air once again. Going to throw this one, and I'm not real sure. We'll see again on the replay here. I'm not sure if that was supposed to go to the inside or to the receiver, and just a miscommunication on the timing route. As I think Shawnee was very fortunate that one wasn't picked off, and that's going to bring up 4th down. And here comes the punt team for the Indians.
When you're in week 2 of your first season and you've installed a new offense, and at this point you need a wrinkle, it's kind of dangerous because when you're thinking go in instead of go out, it's a struggle for kids to learn that and pick that up. If they've been in the system for a couple years, no problem. But I think that's part of the growing process of this young Shane Wireman team.
So Stern has had some good punts. We'll see what he's able to do with this one. He took some off. We're going to see what the bounce does. That one's actually going to go out of bounds. And we'll see where they mark this.
Still going to be pretty good punt.
That's a pretty good punt. All the way down to the 10. Oh, no, they're going to walk it up a little bit to the 15. Okay. But still, a good punt down at the 15. That's where Elida will begin. 7:40 left to go in this one, all tied at 14, and we'll see what the Indian defense can come up with and see if the Elida offense can get going yet again.
Yeah, and you got to give a lot of credit to the Elida defense there. We talked a lot about Spiker and pumped him up, which he really deserves. But Elida's defense rises to the occasion. And I did watch Krim there that last series, and man, he played at his top. I mean, he was getting after. I mean, he's playing through some pain, which all of them are at this point. Looks like everybody's going to get a little water timeout break here, which I like by the officials. You've seen this crosstown rivalry. These guys give it their all on a 90-plus degree evening. And I tell you, both coaches, although there's been mistakes, there's been penalties, there's been some things that they're going to look at and regret. I gotta say both teams have played their butts off. I mean, they've really played hard tonight.
This has looked like a true rivalry game, and even as you kind of mentioned in pregame, you tend to see these types of rivalry games towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
This one, the last couple of years, has moved up towards the front. It hasn't taken anything away from it, and you can see that here again tonight.
Yeah, big crowds. Both sides are into it. The kids are giving it their all. They want bragging rights for the next year. Just a really fun environment to be in.
Magoo sends Wash in motion. He's going to pitch it over to him. Going to try to get Amari out in space as he's going to be stopped after maybe a gain of about 3 or 4 maybe.
Good job defensively by Shawnee. You've seen linebackers running to the football. I really like the Nick Luna linebacker. Does a nice job of reading that inside out, keeping leverage, making the running back cut it back, and giving Shawnee a good stop on first down.
So actually only a gain of 2. It's kind of hard to judge sometimes because they start so far back when they're in that shotgun and that pitch. Amari has to cover a lot of ground before he hits that line of scrimmage. Only able to pick up 2, so 2nd and 8. Magoo takes a snap, going to drop back, going to look to air this one out. They're going to set up the screen yet again, and Shawnee all over it this time. As I believe that was Cole Sunderland was right there to make a great open field tackle.
Love the play call, but this is great defensive coaching because they've had to practice this. They've had to read their keys to see, hey, it's time for a screen. Cole Sunderland does a great job of reading his key, understanding that it's a screen, and a picture-perfect form tackle.
So back-to-back plays where Elida trying to get the ball in Amari Wash's hands. They find themselves still back at the original line of scrimmage. And we'll see what they dial up here on 3rd and 10. Magoo in the shotgun with an empty backfield. Send a man in motion. He's going to keep it after the fake toss. Has to roll. Looks to go deep. Has a man. See if he can get it to him. And it's really hard to see from up here through 2 panes. I'm not sure if he caught that or not.
I think he went down for it. Looked like he had it, but I think it just kind of snuck out as
we got a chance here on the Pat Donuts and Cream instant replay. We'll see what happens here. Nope, he looked like he had an opportunity, but it bounced through his arms. It goes out of bounds. And just like that, a big 3 and out.
Yeah.
Shawnee's going to get the ball back.
Nate, this game it's down to 6 minutes, and I think if you're Shawnee, really what you want to do here is fair catch it and get good field position. If you're Elida, you just want to get the punt off because, like you mentioned earlier about Shawnee being deep in their own territory, Elida's deep in their own territory. If we have a bad snap or
Amari's down, as you saw him kind of grabbing as he went, and this is just going to be another cramp issue. Is it just, it is. You and I somehow get lucky with all these weather games, and this is a hot one here tonight. Amari Wash is down. They're going to work on him, try to work out that cramp, and we'll step aside as well and be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's scoreboard sponsor is Webb Insurance Agency, serving Lima and Allen County for more than 100 years with offices in downtown Lima and Bluffton. Our first down sponsor for tonight is Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Walpock, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, where homestyle happens here. The punt is away, and it is going to be fair caught, just like you said, John, at about the 48-yard line. Shawnee not wanting to risk anything happening here. I think you're right. I think you're kind of into a mode here where, hey, we know we can get things done on the ground. Right. Let's drive. We don't have to take any big shots.
Nope.
See if we can't milk this clock down, and if for some reason we don't come away with points, we don't want to leave a lot of time for Elida.
Exactly. That was a really smart play. Probably had some room to return it, but all the things you just mentioned, you got 6 minutes. You got a short field. I mean, you're starting almost at the 50. You just want to get some first downs, take some time off the clock, maybe put yourself in position for a field goal or run that clock down so at the end you have an opportunity to score with very little time left on the clock.
You know, if you're Elida, in the back of your head, too, you always know that at some point J.J. Spiker can break one with his legs.
Absolutely.
And here you go right here. J.J. Spiker right on cue, running it right up the middle. And his ability to get it done with his arm. They have talented receivers. We've seen Reese Davison come up with some big catches. Joel Stern had a big catch. Michael Garlock have a big catch. So you can't sell out on the run either because you don't want to give those receivers any space. But Spiker, if he sees the space, he's going to be able to go and take it. And, you know, they're a block in the back away from him having a 60-yard touchdown run earlier in the game too. So a lot can happen here as it is now 2nd and short for the Indians. Caius Richardson in the backfield, extra protection. This one's going to go out to Davison. As Reese gets tackled out of bounds, and there's all sorts of bodies flying over there as you get into the traffic of the sideline.
Just really like that play call. Simple, few yards, 5-yard gain, first down. Just really smart. And like you mentioned, J.J. Spiker with his feet, you know, right now, I think you're running with J.J. or you're throwing with J.J. That's what you're doing.
Well, and I think the really only negative about that last play, you pick up the Lee Sam supposed to be chicken first down, you get out of bounds, so you stop the clock.
Right.
Spiker going to drop back, going to look to run it again. Has a lot of space on that right side. He's running for the angle. He has the sideline, one man to beat, and he waiting for the signal, and they're going to say no, out of bounds. They're going to say he stepped out right around the 3-yard line, it looks like. That's a tough call if you're the Indians. As J.J. Spiker, we talked about his big playability with his legs as he makes it happen. And
oh, boy.
You know, there's been a couple. I think both sides have a couple of conversations they can have about some calls that didn't go their way.
Didn't J.J. Spiker something? I'm telling you what, he got out there, followed a Caius Richardson, not a bad lead blocker, by the way, and got out in the corner and just made a huge play. Yeah, you know what? They didn't take a lot of time, but it doesn't matter. You just get the ball in the end zone at this point.
Exactly. So now it's going to be 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Spiker just going to run right up the middle.
Wow.
Bounces off untouched as he gets into the end zone. And Shawnee with back-to-back touchdowns, they take the lead 20-14.
Shawnee is just – I just love their pushback. Like just when you kind of seem like it might be, you know, going south, they just fight back. They really do. And it's not just J.J. Spiker. It's not just the Caius Richardson. It's a team effort. There's lots of guys we haven't mentioned tonight, but, man, I just love their resilience to get back into this game and now take a lead with 5 minutes to go.
So Spiker has thrown 2 Fat Jack's Pizza touchdowns. He's now rushed for a Fat Jack's Pizza touchdown. And the extra point pending as the kick is up, and it is good. Shawnee out to a 21-14 lead. There's still plenty of time left in this one, though. 5:06 to go. Elida gets the ball when we return on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's Instant Replay sponsors Pat's Donuts and Cream. Visit any of our 4 area locations, including our new location at 600 South Cable Road, next to LCC, open daily. Our touchdown sponsor tonight is Fat Jack's Pizza. Get to Fat Jack's Pizza before or after the game and enjoy their delicious pizza, fun games, and ice-cold drinks. Welcome back to Kraft Stadium. I'm Nate Garlock alongside John Zerby. And, John, this game has been everything people thought it was going to be. We knew it was a rivalry game, a much-improved Shawnee squad, a very much more improved Elida squad with a healthy Ryan Magoo. And this one is coming right down to it, just like I think a lot of people predicted.
Man, this has just been a fun game. I mean, back and forth, both teams right at it. Coming down to the end here, Shawnee's going to kick the ball off to Elida. We'll see what Elida's offense can do against Shawnee's defense.
You see Shawnee trying to keep that one away from Amari Walsh as he is going to run all the way across the field before being forced out of bounds right around the 30-yard line as Amari Walsh covered a ton of ground. And I think a little bit of a fortunate spot that time for Elida as it looked like Amari had stepped out a little bit before the 30, but they're going to mark this down at the 32-yard line.
So this is just, you know, this is what I hate to say. This is what like high school football is all about, but it is. In the fourth quarter, you're down 7 to your rival at home. Elida, can you answer offensively? What can you do? Shawnee, you come off an 0-10 season. You got that first win of the year. You're close to your second win. Can you step up defensively?
Parker Krim back in on the offensive line, and who'd they put him on? Caius Richardson, as they did not. They want to try to find a way to limit Richardson's damage, and they immediately run right behind Parker Krim as they doubled Caius Richardson that time. And Ryan Magoo picks up about 3 yards on the carry.
And you're in 4-down territory, Nate. I mean, this is just. I mean, I don't care if there's 4 minutes or not. It doesn't matter. You've got to be aggressive here. It looks like we're gonna have an injury for Elida, and they're gonna have to get a replacement.
Yeah, looks like just another cramping issue, but he's gonna walk out on his own. And
Aaron Daly's gonna come out, and they're gonna get Caden Dunlap in the game.
2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs. Ryan Magoo with Kaufman in the backfield. Magoo takes a snap, gonna look to air this one out. Richardson gets away. Magoo can't get out of trouble though as he's being chased down. And you know, we talk about J.J. Spiker and what he can do with his legs. Ryan Magoo right there kept that from being a big loss before Luna was able to gather him in and knock him down right around the line of scrimmage.
The Shawnee pressure has been really, really intense. And Luna just comes up and makes a picture-perfect tackle, really putting Elida in a bind. But you're right, that could have been a major loss. Magoo did a nice job of getting out of that and getting what he could. But, man, Elida's down to crunch time, Nate. 3rd down. One thing we haven't seen is Elida use timeouts. It might not be a bad idea to get things settled here, and you see Coach Harmon do that.
That's exactly what happens as Elida takes their first timeout, facing a 3rd and 7 with 3:42 left to go. We're going to step aside, and we'll be back on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. 3:42 left to go in this one. Shawnee on top, 21-14. Elida with the football. Coach Harmon taking the timeout as his team faces a big 3rd and 7. As you mentioned, John, I think everybody realizes this is 4-down territory, so don't have to pick it up all right here, but make it an easier 4th down. Wide open look for Kaufman, and he drops it. As Kaufman was wide open, it was a great play call as the Shawnee defender had bit on the run. And Kaufman not able to bring that one in. He is kicking himself. There's not a lot of throws where you'll be more open than that.
Right. And, you know, it's just the simple thing that Cameron Kaufman's eyes got a little big, could see that he had his defenders beat, knew if he brings this in, he's probably running for a lot of yards, and just took his eyes off it at the last second and puts Elida now in a huge 4th down situation. I do love the play call, though. Being aggressive, faking Ryan Magoo with the football, and then pulling up the throw.
4th and 7, 3 wide receivers out wide. They're going to just swing this one off to Kaufman. Kaufman is going to get ate up and drop behind the line of scrimmage as Shawnee read that one perfectly, and it's going to be a turnover on downs.
Wow, little surprised about the play call, just kind of swinging Kaufman out there, especially when he had to have 7 yards. Shawnee just sat back, waited on it. Great tackle by Cole Sunderland. Shawnee's feeling it. Nate, Elida has 2 timeouts, but all Elida really needs, or Shawnee needs to do, is get a 1st down. If they can get a 1st down, get some yards here, this game is over with.
So the Indians, with a chance to close out the Bulldogs here, are going to try to milk this clock. We'll have a couple of timeouts for sure from the Bulldogs. As you get a shot at Coach Wireman there as he has turned this Indian team around, 0-10 a year ago, and on the doorsteps of starting 2-0. Sunderland going to take the handoff, work up the middle. He's going to be brought down after a gain of about 4.
And that's a great play call because now time's coming off the clock. The play clock, the way that it runs now, you can almost take off about 40 seconds with each play, Nate. So if you're Shawnee, you practice these situations. You say, run the clock. Make sure your quarterback doesn't snap it unless there's 5 seconds to go.
Elida doesn't take a timeout there as they wanted to get through 1st down. They would take one after 2nd and after 3rd. So the clock continuing to run, under 3 left to go. Richardson going to move up towards the line. Spiker in an empty backfield. Going to take the snap. Going to keep this one himself. Works behind Achias. Achias leading the way. Richardson does a nice job of keeping guys off of Spiker as his legs once again are the difference maker. And they're going to say not enough. Maybe they measure.
That's going to be 3rd and very short, but
yep.
I'm telling you,
actually,
Nate,
they are going to stop here as they stop the clock. And I think that they are going to measure this one as this one is awfully close here. Yeah. So either way, if this is a first down, like you said, this game is pretty much over. I mean, Elida is still with an opportunity, but if they were to get the stop, it would be very little time left on the clock for them.
Well, and I think, I'm a little surprised that Coach Harmon didn't use his timeouts. I know he was trying to get a stop there, but, you're kind of forced now that if they do get a first down to use those timeouts, and there's just not a lot of time left. I mean, the reality is you want to get those timeouts used up early so it leaves your offense some time, but it looks like it might even be a first down here, Nate.
An awful close measurement as the officials go down. They are going to say that is a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, first down. John Stocker DDS is tonight's premier sponsor for the Elida Bulldogs, providing dental care for the high school sports fan. And a new set of downs for the Indians. And we might be seeing the last gasp here for the Bulldogs.
I think if you're Shawnee, you don't even really take a chance of handing the ball off. I think you just snap it to Spiker, let him run, nothing out of bounds, stay in the middle, protect the football. If you're Elida, you're telling your players that, at all costs, just try to strip that ball.
Are you a fan of staying in the shotgun here and not going under center?
I am, only because, oh boy. Only because, Nate, they've been in the shotgun most of the night. I mean, and that's the thing. You don't want to fumble the football when under center when you really haven't been under center a whole lot. You know what I mean? I think, yeah. I mean, on paper, it looks better to be under center, maybe just take a knee or just run the ball. But I think I've kind of grown to the belief that whatever you practice most and do most, just do that because kids are comfortable with it.
So we do have a stoppage on the field, as it is going to be a timeout by Elida. As Coach Harmon's going to want to talk about it here, as we suspected he'll take it after that first down. It's a Metzger Financial Services timeout, and tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. 2:03 left to go in this one, John, and at this point, I mean, anything can happen. Yeah. You can have a bad snap. We almost had a fumble right there, so this one's not over.
No.
But, if Shawnee is able to hold on in the last 2 minutes here, they've shown a lot. And the fact that not just because they won after the year that they did, it's in the way that they're winning.
Yes.
This was not a clean game. They made a lot of mistakes. They killed their own drives. Yep. They gave Elida a lot of opportunities,
Absolutely.
But they still found a way.
Right.
And I think that even if you look at this team, over the last couple of years, not just last year, that's kind of what they've been missing. They haven't been able to find ways to win. And last week and this week, that's exactly what they've been able to do.
And I've just been so impressed at how they battle back. I mean, no matter what, they just battle back.
Spiker looking to throw this one and throws it out of bounds. Curious play call there. Not sure what exactly Shawnee was trying to draw up there, and almost kind of think it'd have been better if Spiker would have just fallen down right there. Even if it was a design play, if it's not there, fall down, let the clock keep running. But Elida gets the free play here, bring up 3rd and long.
That's and I would never blame that on coaching because kids just do stuff, but that's not what you want to do in that situation. Like you said, Nate, even if you just take a knee. Here's the thing: make Elida use that last timeout,
exactly.
And then even if you have to run 40 seconds off the clock and use a timeout yourself, that's okay. You want to have as least amount of time on that clock as possible.
So now they're going to hand this one off. A little bit of a trick play. This one going deep into the end zone. And it is also incomplete as they tried a little bit of a razzle-dazzle that time. Ends up to Caleb Bacon, the backup quarterback. He's going to throw this one deep, trying to find, as I believe that was Garlock in the end zone, but Elida did a nice job of having that defended. They didn't bite on the play fake. That brings up 4th and long. And Shawnee's going to take the timeout here. It's going to be their first timeout. 1:49 left to go. And, John, back-to-back play calls when you have a one-touchdown lead. And, you could have ran a lot of time off of this clock here. I'm not a football coach. I'm not going to question Coach Wireman. He's won a whole lot more football games than I'm ever even going to dream of winning. But you hope that those aren't calls that you start second-guessing here very shortly.
I think that, and again, I'm the same with you. when you've coached, doesn't matter what sport you coach, you just kind of realize that, the more you do it, you kind of feel like the less you know. But I think that the reality is that maybe that's an aggressive play call when you've been a couple years established in the program. You've had the guys. Yep. You be aggressive like that.
I'll tell you what, that shows an awful lot of confidence that he has in his offense.
It does. It really does. At the same time, I think right now your main goal is wins, and I don't care if it's 21-20. Just get the win. Just get out of here with the win. So we'll see.
It was 4-down territory, and the Indians are going to go for it here. Spiker going to drop back, going to look to go to the air yet again. Going to have to roll to his right. Here comes the pressure. He gets rid of it right across the middle, and no flag as he was trying to get it to DePalma. And so 3 straight pass plays, and that is going to be a turnover on downs for the Indians. So Elida still very much alive here in this one with still 1 timeout and 1:43 left to go.
I'm telling you, Elida still has life in him. And, if you're Shawnee, one thing you can't do is feel like you've already won, because you haven't. And with 1:43 in today's, wide open passing attacks, that's plenty of time. So, Elida has new life here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in these next few plays.
They have big playability. Magoo, he's going to try to get rid of it quickly. Going to throw this outside, almost picked off. DePalma did a great job of reading that. They're going to say a completed catch, though, as that was number 14. Tyler Dillon comes up with that reception. Clock continues to run. 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs.
The only issue Elida has right now, Nate, is 1 timeout, so they don't really have a lot of time to use that timeout now. Now's not the time to use it.
Quick out to Dillon. Dillon
Great
immediately
tackle.
taken out, but he does a great job to get out of bounds. So he stops the clock with 1:12, and it is going to be 3rd and short for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, great awareness there by Tyler Dillon to get out of bounds, because if he doesn't, Nate, man, that's going to be another 20 seconds off the clock. So good job. 3rd and 1. If you're Elida, if you're Coach Kyle Harmon right now, Nate, you're calling 2 plays. Because if you get a first down, you've got to run a play quick. And if you don't get a first down, then you can go ahead and reset and call a new play. But I think you got to call 2 plays here so that you can make up time.
And at some point, Shawnee's going to have to be on the lookout for that screenplay that has been successful. As they want to try to get Amari Wash out in space. Play clock winding down. Just get that one out. Wash going to be wide open. You saw him run through, and that one's going to be dropped, as it looked like Shawnee was going to have an easy interception as Wash was going right through multiple defenders. Wash begging for a call as he felt like there was a lot of contact there. As you take a look on the Pat Sorensen and Cream instant replay,
there was confusion from the get-go, Nate. I mean, Tyler Dillon didn't even go out for a route. He just stood there. There was confusion from the get-go. Being 3rd and 1, I think that maybe Shawnee or Elida just assumed Shawnee thought they were going to run the ball. They tried to take a shot, but now they're in a 4th down situation. Shawnee could win the game here with the stop.
We're going to hand this one off to Kaufman up the middle. He is stopped. It's going to all come down to the mark here.
Wow.
We will see where the officials mark it, as this is a big spot, as I think this is going to be right at where the 1st down marker is, and I think it's going to come down to a measurement. The officials looking at the mark, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to come out and they're going to measure this one. We will see whether or not this game is over or if the Elida Bulldogs have some life still. They get the chain set up. They're going to look for that stretch. This is going to be awfully close. And it is going to be just enough for Elise. Famous Recipe Chicken 1st down. The Bulldogs still alive with 1:03 left to go.
Nate, every second of this game has been intense. I mean, there's been no moment where you're like, okay, it's over. It's, each team can relax. I mean, every second has been just, it's just been great.
And let's put the 1:02 left to go. Clock is running. Just to kind of put this out there, if Elida is able to score, as this one goes deep, the Wash is wide open, and he catches a big play. To finish that thought, Elida, if they're able to score here in this last minute, they are playing with their 3rd string kicker right now.
No.
Their
Wow.
top 2 guys went down earlier this week in injuries. One is their soccer goalie had a concussion. The other one injured as well. So they are playing with, I believe, we don't have him on our roster, but I believe from what I heard people saying was with a freshman first-time kicker.
Oh, boy.
And it could come down to him being able to tie this one up. As Magoo takes that one, he's going to spike that to stop the clock with 50 seconds left to go. So then it'll be interesting. Does Elida make this? Do we try to kick it and tie and play for overtime, or do we go for 2 in the win?
Do you want my opinion?
I think that's why they have us up here.
Okay, all right. I think you're right. You know, I honestly think if you're Elida and you score here, Nate, you're at home. It's been back and forth. It's been a struggle. I think you try to end the game.
I'm with you.
You know,
I agree with you.
And you throw in the fact that you got a new kicker and it's inexperience, and I put the ball in Ryan Magoo's hands and maybe go for it and get a huge win. But we'll see. They got to score first. So
50 seconds left to go. 2nd and 10. Magoo going to drop back. A little bit of pressure coming. He snakes away, steps up, looking to run. And I think that's a bad move. He throws that for a touchdown. I think he was in front of the line of scrimmage. The officials are going to talk about it, and we'll see if this is going to be a Fat Jack's Pizza touchdown, and it is not. As Magoo stepped up, I could see it from up here. It looked like you can see the far judge. He's on the line of scrimmage, and Magoo lets that one go in front of the yard line. That was clearly in front of the line of scrimmage, and a terrible break for the Elida Bulldogs.
Wow, what a great play by Ryan Magoo. And so close, Nate. It's not like he was 3 yards over. So close.
He just stepped up as he was trying to create and keep that one alive. He kept his eyes downfield, lost that feel for where that line of scrimmage was, took about 2 steps in front of it when he let that one go, and a really unfortunate break for the Elida Bulldogs.
Well, the good news is that they've moved the ball in the last 2 plays quite easily, and so they've got first down here, 40 seconds to go, several plays. They still have an opportunity to score here, Nate.
Absolutely, absolutely. As those receivers have been able to find space here in the secondary for Shawnee. Magoo going to drop back. Going to have to roll out, looks to throw, crossed his body. Going to go deep. He's got a receiver in the end zone. Jump ball. This one's going to get tipped away. A great play that time, as I believe that is, let's see, I can't tell. It's hard to tell from here. I believe it's number 2. As we check the Pat's Donuts and Cream instant replay.
Well, the interesting thing here now,
No,
Nate,
that's number 8. That's actually the senior, Caleb Bacon.
Yep.
As he comes and knocks that one away, a huge play by him.
What's kind of snuck up on us is it's 4th down. I mean, that's the thing. Like, with the penalties.
Maybe some premature fireworks in the background as well. All sorts of stuff happening here tonight at Kraft Stadium.
I'm telling you, this has been great for week 2. Wow, what a game. And it's going to come down to this 4th down. I think if you're Coach Harmon, you burn the timeout here.
That's exactly what he's going to do. Elida will take a timeout. 21-14, 34 seconds left to go. 4th and 6 when we return on WOSN. Welcome back. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Welcome back to Kraft Stadium. I'm Nate Garlock alongside John Zerby. And John, 34 seconds left to go. A 4th and 16 play here for the Bulldogs to either put it in the end zone because they've been trying to throw it deep, or if nothing else, just prolong this drive a little bit longer.
This has been an incredible game, Nate. I mean, we've talked about it. It's been fun. I mean, these 2 teams are getting after it. And, you know, the resilience of both teams, coaching staffs, they just, you know, it's a cliche, but both teams have really laid it out all in the field. It's going to come down to this 4th and 16 play with 30 seconds to go in the game.
So we have seen the Elida receivers here late in this one be able to get behind that secondary of Shawnee. And now, after seeing how Elida came out, Shawnee decides to take their final timeout, as Coach Wireman is going to want to talk to his defense and make sure that they're ready for this one as well. And I'll tell you what, John, I mean, you can't ask for more. I mean, it wasn't that long ago the ball was on the other side of the field. We're talking about Shawnee just milking the clock,
Right.
coming away with the
Right.
victory. Like, this was a done deal.
Exactly.
And, I mean, Elida right now knocking on the doorsteps. They had a touchdown pass.
Absolutely.
Just 2 yards in front of that line of scrimmage. Called that one back. And what's bigger about that penalty is it's also a loss of down.
Right.
And so that's where that fourth down kind of came up on us. I'll tell you what, it's been a long time since I've seen a more exciting end to a game.
And you know, it's too bad a team's going to have to leave here with a loss because both teams have given it their all. I mean, and what I love too, Nate, is, you know, we've seen a lot of cramping tonight. We've seen a lot of guys kind of get, you know, injured a little bit, get hurt. But everybody's back on the field right now. Everybody's giving it their all. They're fighting through all that adversity, the heat, everything. Comes down to this play here, fourth down.
So here we go. Ryan Magoo jogging out. Cam Kaufman lined up in the backfield next to him. 3 wide receivers out wide. A bad snap. Magoo gathers it up. Here comes the pressure. Gonna throw this one deep. He's got some guys down there. This one knocked down by the Indians, and they are going to survive as there are no flags on the field. And the Indians come into Elida, and they are going to get a big win in this rivalry matchup.
Wow, what a great defensive play. Ryan Magoo does a nice job of almost a disaster snap. He picks it up, makes a great throw down the field. Shawnee does a good job of just knocking it down. I'm just telling you what, Nate. These two teams are going to lead the field. Kids are going to be exhausted, but there's no shame on either side with what's happened tonight.
So we are just a couple of kneels away from ending this one. I can't imagine that Elida will – they're actually out of timeout. So one knee, that's all this one's going to take. And Shawnee – and we'll talk about it when we come back after we leave here and go to the postgame. But the job that Coach Wireman has done with this program in the short amount of time that he has been here has been absolutely phenomenal. And you can't say enough good things. It's not even the play. I think to me, it's the mentality that he has shifted in this program.
That's right. I mean, like you said, the fight back, the resilience. There was a million times there where they could have quit. There's a million times they could have just gave in. They didn't. They kept coming back, and every time you thought they were down, they just kept fighting back.
So that is going to bring this one to a close. The Shawnee Indians moved to 2-0 on the season. 1-0 in the Western Buckeye League. The Elida Bulldogs, they fought hard all the way to the end, but they fall in this one 21-14. We'll step aside. When we return, we'll announce tonight's Shawnee Insurance Hustle Award winner. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on WOSN. Welcome back to Kraft Stadium, where the Shawnee Indians have knocked off the Elida Bulldogs 21-14. Time to announce our Stolly Insurance Hustle Award winner. Check out highlights of tonight's Stolly Hustle Award winner on the WSN YouTube page. And quite honestly, John, this was a pretty easy one for us. Tonight's winner, J.J. Spiker.
Yeah, I mean, Nate, he was just incredible. I mean, everything he did tonight, I mean, just being kind of the glue of that offense, you know. When they needed a big play, did it with his feet, did a great job of completing passes as well. But just the big plays, those explosive plays, J.J. Spiker, player of the game, gets Shawnee their second win of the year. Man, they've got to be feeling good right now.
2 touchdown passes, 1 rushing touchdown for Spiker tonight. He kept plays alive with his feet. He kept his team in it. And that Shawnee defense, you got to give them a lot of credit. You know, they was a bend but don't break type night for them as they held Ryan Magoo and Amari Walsh in check. And it's a great win for this Indian program. We talked about it a couple of different times tonight. But, you know, obviously, you know, every week that 0-10 season gets further and further in the rearview mirror, and they are writing a brand new story for this program.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a fresh start. You got new coaches, you got new program. These kids believe. You can see that. And the resilience of coming back time and time again. Every time you thought they were down, every time you thought it was over with for them, they just kept fighting back. And sometimes you just hang around long enough, you keep yourself in the game, you put yourself in position to win. So really a great job. Coach Wireman, congratulations. Shawnee Indians, congratulations on your second victory of the season.
So that is just going to about wrap it up for us here at Kraft Stadium. One final time, the Shawnee Indians knock off the Elida Bulldogs 21-14. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great night, everybody.